up, everybody? We're going to talk about Joe Biden's behind tonight. So with that said, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the bell of notification, and let's get at it. Peace.
Take me in your arms, do just what you want. You're the one I trust. I belong to you, and I'll always be around when I need some loving, baby. And I'll never let you down, let you down. I'm your song, and you're playing all my melodies. There's no one else, 'cause baby, we got chemistry. You give me feelings that I never knew. This heart of mine will always and forever belong to you. You and me were meant to be as one. The universe has known it all along. Maybe this is where our story starts. Maybe it was written in the stars. Written in the stars. You, me, forever, yeah. You, me, written in the stars. You, me, forever, yeah. You, me.
Information is power.
Take me to your heart. Take me to your soul. Never drawn apart. 'Cause I belong to you. Be my guiding star. 'Cause I need your loving, baby. And never let me down. Let me down. I'm your song, and you're playing all my melodies. There's no one else, 'cause baby, we got chemistry. You gave me feelings that I never knew. This heart of mine will always and forever belong to you. You and me were meant to be as one. The universe has known it all along. Maybe this is where our story starts. Maybe it was written in the stars. Written in the stars. You will be forever, yeah. You, me, written in the stars. You, me, forever, yeah. You, me, written in the stars. You, me, forever, yeah. You, me, written in the stars.
Okay, everybody, peace to you. This is the Information Man of the Information Man Show. Thank you for being here tonight. This presentation is, I'm going to get right at it. Let me do some roll call. First of all, I got to make sure that people can hear me. There's always some issues with sounds that you have to contend with on YouTube. So let me look into the audience. If my sound is coming out fine and not an echo or anything, let me know by putting a 1 or a yes in the chat room if you can hear me and the sound is coming through fine. Let me know by putting a 1 or a yes in the chat room as I get ready to do roll call for people that are in the house listening to the program tonight. Everybody's putting a 1. We got Joe, my man Joe's in the house. Sir Roy is in the house. And we've got Joe saying, what's up, peace, brother. And we got my man Male Advice, who gave me a super chat of $2. He says, peace, brother, tell the truth. I'm going to
tell the truth.
I'm going to keep trying. I hope you can all hear that. So let me do some roll call. Earl Owens is in the house. We got Watch in the house. We got Beverly Pam is in the house. Africa News Channel says, "You, my brother, information man, did you hear about the doctor that fell out after taking the vice?" I have no idea about that, brother. But what I'm going to do as soon as I get a chance after ending this program tonight, at some point in time, I'm going to look into what you're talking about. I believe in always looking at the receipts, gathering the evidence, and what have you. Let me tell you what I think happened my other stream that got taken down due to censorship by YouTube. I think the reason why it got taken down, as I go over their policies, is that I believe the brother, and this is no shade to the brother that called in or no disrespect to him, but I think when he called in and he made the statement about the HIV and the, in this formula, got to use code words now, in this formula, I think that's what triggered the algorithm. So that's why, folks, when you call up the programs like this, we have to really watch some of the things that we say, because you might be honest, you might be really forthright in what you're trying to say, but it can have a impact on the individual's channel. So that's why when the brother made those statements, I said, well, wait a minute now. Where's the evidence? Let's see. What's the documentation? Where is this at? Because you can have a lot of misinformation out there. And so I think that statement triggered the algorithms, and that might have led, because when I looked through the video and I compared it to their policies, I said, well, wait a minute, I didn't violate this, that, or that. And I said, it had to be that particular statement. When I had the brother called in and he made that particular statement, that might have been what triggered it. So you have to be, for those of you, if I open up the line tonight, you got to speak in code. You can't say things that have not been proven by a shadow of a doubt, especially if you're saying something that's controversial, that's over the top. You got to really back it up with receipts, and it got to be something that's verified, or YouTube's algorithms are going to destroy your video. A good number of you already seen that video, so I'm happy that happened. I'm actually, as I looked at it, I'm flattered by what YouTube did, because once again, if I was not doing something right, they would have never taken it down in the first place. So I want to make sure I say that. We got Michael Jackson that's in the house. Michael Jackson Boxing Talk and More is in the house. Peace to you. Thank you for being here. The Life of King Wages in the house. We got Raw B in the house. Privilege. I thank you all for being here. And I got to give my man DIY, Mr. Mel Advice, I got to give him the super chat music and all the trimmings that comes with the music and all that good stuff. So looks like we're going to do it right now.
Tell them run it up. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up. Flex. Thumb down now. Check. No drip this. Wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. I wake up. Flex. Thumb down now. Check. No drip this. Wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turn to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ and Tom Brady. I wake up.
Okay, everybody. Thank you for the super chat. Mr. Mel Advice, I appreciate that, brother, for the super chat. Keep doing your thing over there. Y'all check out the brother's channel. He's got a lot of great things going on his channel. Man has gifted hands, incredible crafts and things that he creates on his channel. So make sure you check him out, follow him, and do your thing. So as everybody's coming in, I appreciate everybody coming in tonight. I'm going to get right at it.
Tell the truth.
We're going to tell the truth tonight. Now, we know that Joe Biden, I'm going to play the audio, and I'm going to stop it. I'm going to look at the chat room, get your thoughts about what's happening. I'm going to replay it. I'm going to, play segments of it, stop it, and let you all hear things over again as necessary. Now, this is the thing that bothers me about the whole situation. Joe Biden had this meeting, him and Kamala Harris. This was a Zoom meeting, I believe. It was not meant for me or you to hear this conference or this meeting in which Joe Biden had the audacity to say that he is the only one, black or white. Okay, this is laughable kind of stuff here. We're talking about laughable stuff, folks.
Problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for him or Trump, then you ain't black folks. And with that said, he got up there with the so-called black leadership. Now, let me show you some of the people before I start this audio who were at this meeting. Should blow you away, should open up your eyes. So we have, let me see, who's who? We have Derek Johnson. Let me correct myself. Derek Johnson is the president of the NAACP. Okay? And who do we have next? Let me see something here. Hang on for a moment because there's something I want to see. There we go. And then we have this sister right here. And this sister is Sharon. She's the sister that's in, let me tell you, let me put down because I have something that I want to put up here. There we go. Right there next to her. Sharon is the president of and director and counsel of the LDF NAACP Legal Defense Fund. So she's the president of the Legal Defense Fund and Educational Fund, the national premier civil rights law organization. This is the sister right here who was at the meeting that was held with Joe Biden that we none of us were supposed to know about this meeting, by the way. None of us. Okay? Now, then we have this sister right here. And let me go back over here and phase in over here and come back over here and give me a moment there to bring this over to where I need to be. And then here we go. So this sister right here is Melanie L. Campbell. Get the name right. Now, she's the national... She runs the National Coalition on Black Civil Participation, the National Coalition on Black Participation. I wanted to get that right. She was present. So these are the so-called black leaders, okay, that were present. Now, we got to get to this man right here. And I don't know any man who's taking selfies like this that calls himself a leader, taking selfies like this. That's the Al Sharpton. Keeping it real. That's Al Sharpton, who should not take selfies like that because it's funny. It's laughable. Okay? Should not take Sharpies. So selfies, should I say. I'm sorry, folks. Selfies. So let me go right ahead and let me do something by way of giving you a more dignified picture of Al slick back hair Sharpton. And here we go. That's a more respectable look, don't you think? So that's Al Sharpton. He was in the meeting. Then let me bring up somebody else. He had, let me see, there was, who was the other guy? Oh, this guy here. Representative Cedric Richardson denies, remember Ice Cube called him out. The Democrats tried to act like they didn't promise Ice Cube any seat at the table when it came to his contract with Black America. And Ice Cube had to call him out, and Cedric Richmond denied Ice Cube claim that he was told to hold off demands until after the election. Louisiana Congressman Cedric Richmond, let me correct that, Richmond denies Ice Cube was told by the Biden campaign, which I don't think he's telling the truth.
Tell the truth.
I think that Ice Cube was telling the truth.
Tell the truth.
To hold off demands until after the 2020 election. Okay, so Cedric Richmond, who has become a part of a fixture in Joe Biden's administration, is now in denial of that. And here goes a picture of them battling it out on Twitter. There you go. Now, Ice Cube says this to this buck dancing individual. He said, instead of going back and forth, Congressman, please release the Zoom meeting so that the world can see what was said by all. And Republican Cedric Richmond denies Ice Cube. So Ice Cube just simply came back and said, hey, man, let's review the video so that everybody can see what was said. Let's not hide in lies. You see the games that's played? And you even have so-called black leaders who play these games. But yet when they'll lie to black people, they will lie to us. They will play games with us and tell us to vote for them, that they got our best interests in mind. And then when they're confronted by someone like Joe Biden, he puts the pimp hand on them. And they ain't got nothing to say. They ain't got no real strong pushback. Now look at this. Biden administration. See, this is why some of these black folks capitulate like they do, because they're looking for positions. They're looking for a position. We as black people on Main Street are looking for tangibles, and we're looking for a black agenda while they're looking for individual accolades. So Richmond is the national co-chair of Joe. He was the national co-chair of Joe Biden's 2020 presidential campaign. On November 17th, 2020, he announced that he will join the Biden administration as senior advisor to the president and director of the White House Office of Public Liaison. He will resign from Congress in January 2021. So he's the advisor to the president and director of the White House Office. Let me decode that for you. Y'all saw the movie Django Unchained. He ain't nothing but a Steven. He ain't nothing but a house. You know what? A house, you know what? House. Put the Negro in charge of the house. That's what it is. Because anytime you as a black man are in a position that he's in, and you can't be honest about what you told someone like Ice Cube, and you're not out there fighting for what's best for black people, then that's a serious problem. Now we've got a super chat by way of Alfie Kingdom Podcast. $5 super chat. He says, peace and blessings, respect, chat, salute, my info man, brother info man. Thank you. Brothers in the chat room, check out brother Alfie Kingdom's channel. Check him out. The brother is deep. The brother is on to something with his channel. He's doing good things over there. So now I got to give you the super chat music and all the drapings that comes with that before I get started with that. There we go. With that audio that I got to play for y'all.
Tell them run it off. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it off. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it off. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it off. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it off. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turn to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ and Tom Brady. I wake up,
Thank you for the
down,
super chat.
no drip this. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip this. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. Y'all gon' make me take that trip way out to Europe. I call up Nigeria, come through in a hurry.
All right, brother, thank you for the super chat. Let me get back at it now. Thank you for that super chat, brother. I really appreciate that. And like once again, check out that brother's channel, especially the brothers in the chat room. Check that brother out. He has a man's channel talking about man's issues and things like that that we need to be aware of. So check him out. Brother has a great channel. And let me go right into the audio now. I'm just laying out some of the people that were there. You had people that were leaders, and Joe Biden was talking down. So let's go into the audio right now, what you've been waiting for. Let's not waste any time here. And this is the full audio. So you're going to hear them actually asking him questions back as he talks to them like a dictator. This is Joe Biden. This is Joe Biden putting up his pimp hand. And let me put something else on the screen too. There's another person that I want to put some blame on here too, and that's Clyburn. Remember, Clyburn was asked in an interview, what did he want from Joe Biden? And Clyburn said that he didn't want anything, that he just wanted his family to have a good life and so on and so forth. And remember, Clyburn later turned around and complained that Joe Biden wasn't, he didn't put enough black representation within his cabinet, within his administration so far. So Clyburn, on the one hand, when he had the chance to make the demand as to what he wanted from Joe Biden, when he should have made certain demands of Joe Biden, when he gave him the nomination in South Carolina and they anointed Joe Biden, okay, the same Joe Biden who put black men behind bars, and I'm not going to forget about that. Anybody that tells you, anybody, I don't care who they are, anybody that minimizes the reality of what Joe Biden did to black men, anybody who minimizes that, get the you-know-what away from them. Get away from them. Anybody that would minimize what Joe Biden has done, I want y'all to hear a little bit of this audio to remind you of the 94 crime bill before I go into the leaked tape. I want to put some perspective on this because this is a man who caused a lot. He's president now. He's president-elect. I get it. This is a man that put a lot of black men in jail. This is a man that was hanging out with Strom Thurmond and a lot of these racist Dixiecrats, because, you know, the Democratic Party, they're the party of the Ku Klux Klan at one point in time, right? The Dixiecrats jumped from the Democratic Party right over to the Republican Party. So this is the party. These are the guys that Joe Biden was hanging out with when he crafted that crime bill, which put a lot of black men in prison. And we cannot forget that. As you hear this audio that I'm going to play a little bit of, and then we go into the audio in which he does a tongue lashing to civil rights leaders, so-called civil rights leaders, because I don't believe we have any real black leadership anymore. So here's a man that put us in jail. Then he's telling black leadership what they can't demand, what they shouldn't do. I'm the white guy. I'm the only man, white or black, who's been addressing issues that have been happening to black people as Joe Biden runs his mouth off. But let's hear some of his deeds in the past, just a little bit.
Must make the streets safer. I don't care why someone is a malfactor in society. I don't care why someone is antisocial. I don't care why they become a sociopath. We have an obligation to cordon them off from the rest of society, try to help them, try to change their behavior. That's why we do in this bill. We have drug treatment and we have other treatments to try to deal with it. But they are in jail, away from my mother, your husband, our families. But we would be absolutely stupid as a society if we didn't recognize the condition that nurtured those folks still exist, and we must deal with that. And I think there's a consensus among Republicans in that. Old barbed wire Republican conservatives want to hang them high. Even those folks are saying, hey, we got to deal with the root cause of this. Not one or the other, but separately. And liberal Democrats who used to say, let's look at the sociological underpinnings of why this occurred, and we have to, they're now saying, hey, look, we got to take back the streets. We'll make that fight later. So there is a consensus. I hope the remainder of the discussion, as we close out the debate in this bill, we can end that old fight. We can put it behind us. Hopefully we have, the senator from West Virginia said this is a historic moment on this bill, a consensus being reached. I think it is, but I think it's a historic moment for a political reason as well. Hopefully we will end the discussion about whether or not Republicans are Neanderthal and only want to hang them high, and Democrats are wacko liberals and only want to look at the causes. Those days are gone. Evidence of that, the Democratic senator from Delaware and the Republican conservative senator from Utah are united in a Biden-Hatch crime bill that does all the things that I just said. So as one of my relatives...
Let me stop it right there. Biden said, and you heard it on the audio, he said in the Biden-hatched crime bill, he was taking credit for it. He was taking credit for it, ladies and gentlemen. He said a Biden-hatched crime bill. So he was boasting in the glory of putting this together. Then he was boasting about the Republicans are not all bad. The Democrats are not just this. We got to come together and we got to save America from the animals. Now, when he's talking about the people that's doing crime, he's talking about black people. He's calling black people animals. This is the same Joe Biden who in 1971, ladies and gentlemen, he said he was concerned about his children being in a racial jungle. That the racial jungle of busing. Remember in the 70s, they were pushing busing. And that was a time where you had a lot of white folks, a lot of folks didn't want their kids being bused. You had black people didn't want their kids being bused. And you had white folks that were threatening to take their kids out of school if they sent black people to school with their kids, right? And I still to this day don't understand why we would want to send our kids to schools to be taught by people who don't give a you-know-what about us. Makes no sense. But Biden was a part of that whole era, and this is why Biden still remains a strong pimp hand when he has pimped black people. He pimped us for that vote. He got that vote because you had weak black leadership that did not do the right thing by keeping a demand on him and not keeping a steady demand on him. Yeah, Clyburn was upset about a few things, but when you hear him in here talking, I'm going to play that audio for you in just a moment. I want to put something else on the screen real quick before I get into it, and give me just 1 minute while I stroll down and find what I'm looking for exactly. There we go. And then let me go back up here. I hope everybody out there is doing fine. Let me shout a few people out. We got Postmaster LT in the house, Michael Johnson, African First News Network. We've got, somebody super chatted me, and I'm going to get to that. And let me address somebody we got my man Real Aaron Collins is in the chat room. We got Black Star Sports TV in the chat room. We got Dr. Reed's Laws in the chat room. We got Alexander. We got Sugar Love. We got Taz Exclusive. He says, let me see, send order. What are you saying, Taz? Taz says he shared the bill name with the senator from Utah. All right. Hey, Taz, thank you for the information, brother. Thank you for the information that you, hey, Taz, by the way, let me give you, let me mod you up real quick. Taz, do me a favor. Because I know, Taz, I know you on this type of information. You're pretty damn good with this kind of stuff. Any information like links, anything that you want people to look at, brother, tonight, just I modded you up. Just put the links in the chat room. Any information that you got at your fingertips, just put it into the chat room, Taz. If there's anything else that you want to add in what you just said, brother, in the chat room, okay? Peace to you. We got my man, brother Duvian, who goes by the name of Muhammad. He's in the house. Taz exclusive. Okay, Taz says, okay, I got you. Go ahead and do that, Taz. So let me get back to this. So you got, let me put this is a picture I want to put up on the screen here. Here goes the Congressional Black Caucus. That's what I wanted to put up here. So these are members of your Congressional Black Caucus. They're supposed to represent black people, right? They're supposed to be pushing the envelope for us. Okay? When Clyburn said that he was disappointed in the appointments that Joe Biden had put out so far, you know what I noticed? It was the Latino caucus, because the Latinos, the Hispanics, they have their own representation in Washington, D.C. too. The Latinos said, hey, we're not happy with Biden's choices. He's not putting enough Latino people in his administration too. But the thing I notice about Latinos and other groups of people is that they're not caping for black people. You don't hear them talking about brown and black. You don't hear them saying, hey, you got to do something for black people too. Other groups of people focus on themselves, while black people get left out in the cold like this. We get left in the dark with the lights turned down. We get left wondering, what about us? Even though we voted for you. Black America gets pushed to the back of the bus, literally, figuratively, as we have for many years. Okay? And what we do is that we put these white men on pedestals. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care about Donald Trump and I don't care about Joe Biden, because both these political parties bite you from both sides of the sword. One screws you with Vaseline. That would be the Democratic Party. They make it feel good to you while you're getting it. Then, because they make it feel good with the so-called social programs, right, that they claim that they're going to give us. Then the Republican parties, they just tell you like a pimp that they don't care about you. They're not going to do anything for you. Get out of my face. We don't have to do anything for you, Black America. We can do whatever we want anytime we want. If you don't like it, then tough luck for you, so-called Black America, because hey, Black America, we don't care. You know, that's just the way we feel about you, Black America. We don't care about your families, right? We don't care about anything that has to do with you, Black America, right? We don't even care. We don't even care about, let me put something else up here for you all that they don't care about Black America. And that is, let me put this up here as soon as I can get to it. We don't even care if black men, Black America, if black men are good fathers. We don't care about that. We don't care about the time that you take out as black men, because we got the black women to carry the water for us and give us all the votes, and we'll marginalize black men, call them deadbeat fathers, right? Call them not there for their kids, and we'll focus on black women, pit them against you, make them the face of the party. When it's convenient for us to get the votes that we need, we'll go to your black churches and we'll give some of your greasy pig skin eating and pig skin and pig's feet eating preachers. We'll give you we'll give you all the money and all the support we need to get you to go and get the vote out for us and tell black people that we're the only chance that they've got. We're the only ones that can save you in your time of struggle. Okay? So let me put this up here again. So that's what we got going on with the Democratic Party. Now, let me put something on the screen before I go into the audio because I want to put something in perspective. This is the official, and I'm hoping it's on the screen right now. Good, it is. This is the official, ladies and gentlemen, race and ethnicity and gender. I'm sorry about that. I'm having a tongue tie right now. And you know, I've gone over this before. The numbers have gone up. The first time I did this, the numbers weren't as high as they are on this chart now. But these were the total numbers. Everybody jumped on black men saying that black men were going to vote for Donald Trump wholesale, right? We had the Democratic Party using black women to come at us and scold black men. Well, as you can see on the chart, if you look deeply on the chart that I have on the screen, black men voted 86% for Joe Biden, only 12% for Donald Trump. At least that's what they're telling us on these charts. Black women voted for the Democratic Party at an astounding rate of 93%. Okay, so black people outvoted every other group going Democratic. As you can see up there, 52% of white women voted for Donald Trump at 52%. Why was there no pushback on white women in the Democratic Party? Why was there no calling out white women? Why didn't black women call out white women for voting so high for Donald Trump? Look at white men. 59% they voted for Donald Trump, and only 39% of white men voted for Biden at 46% white women. Yet black men were the scapegoat. We were told that we were on the wrong path. Yet we came out and still voted for Joe Biden. And this is the thing. Since we had the most votes than anybody, we voted for Joe Biden. We put it out there for Joe Biden. We supported him. Then we, out of all the groups in this country, we have the greatest right. We have the most invested, and we can be the most arrogant to make a demand as to what we want from this administration. This administration owes us more than just putting black folks in some positions of quote unquote what we think is power, right? So you put a black man, as you did with Lloyd Austin. Now, I'm not going to say negative things about Brother Lloyd Austin. He has an incredible military record as a general. However, yeah, he's going to possibly be the Secretary of Defense, right, over the Army, over the military, let me just say that. And I'm going to say this for everybody in the chat room listening. How much is a black man being in charge of the military? How much of that really impacts your life at ground level? How much of that really impacts the black man and black woman on Main Street? When we need, what I'm going to say to you right now is that black people don't just need a political party. We need a black agenda on Main Street. We need tangibles trickle down to us on Main Street. So you can give us black people in different positions within Biden's administration, and it looks good. It feels good to us. It's symbolic, and they already know that black people, we operate off of a lot of emotions. We operate off a lot of symbolic symbolism, and we thrive off of that, right? Joe Biden picked Kamala Harris to kind of like tell black women, see, I'm doing something for you. Black women took the bait. They got emotional about it because she's a black woman, right? So all that emotion, and the question is, no one took the time to think, what is the power of a vice president? Do vice presidents really have that much power? Do they really move the needle? And I'm going to say this again. Did Kamala Harris really move the needle for Joe Biden? Because guess what? Black people damn near voted the same way for Hillary Clinton when she lost to Donald Trump. So the votes never were really the same. I'm going to argue that Kamala Harris did not move the needle for Joe Biden. The voting pattern of black people did not change. The voting pattern of most people did not change. Latinos voted at 32% for Trump. Latino women at 39% for Trump. So they outvoted black people for Trump. Yet we got black politicians running around saying that brown and black and people of color, and then they're using another coded message, which is racial justice. So if you go up to these politicians and say, hey, what about black tangibles? They want to talk to you about racial justice. They want to say, well, climate change now is a part of racial justice that benefits black people. Or school loans, that's a racial justice issue that'll benefit black people. They don't want to deal with what black people want directly, so they disguise it in these messaging centered around the messaging of racial justice. You watch out for these buzzwords, folks. Racial justice, intersectionality, and all these sort of statements out there. Watch out for that. Now, with that said, let me go ahead and play the audio, and let's critique this audio, shall we? And here we go. Matter of fact, before I get started, let me do one more thing here. One more thing here, folks. I'll just do it right here. I know what I want to do. Let's get ready for this dramatic breaking of the news.
Derek Johnson, president of the NAACP. Vanita Gupta, a former ACLU attorney who was Obama's Civil Rights Division head.
Let me start this over again.
Vanita Gupta, a former Derek Johnson, president of the NAACP. Vanita Gupta, a former ACLU attorney who was Obama's Civil Rights Division head. The Reverend Al Sharpton, Sherilyn Ifill, Melanie Campbell, who is the president of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, and soon-to-be former Congressman Cedric Richmond, who Biden has named an assistant to the president. In many ways, it was a Zoom call like any other.
Can't hear you, Cedric. You're on mute.
It also included a few Biden-esque boasts.
I'm the first person, black or white, who called attention to the fact that you were finding that there was the rate of people who were African Americans who are dying was 3 times that of white people.
You hear that? He said, I'm the first person, black or white. You hear the arrogance of Joe Biden, the pimp hand of Joe Biden.
Carry around a stamp on my head saying progressive and I'm AOC, but I have more of a record of getting things done in the United States Congress than anybody you know. Anybody you know.
You hear that nonsense?
Some Biden cringe.
By 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. Hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do.
And some Biden temper.
Let's get something straight.
Did you hear what Joe Biden said? Now look on this chart here, how much black people voted for this fool. He sat up there and said, y'all, listen to him. He said, y'all gonna have to work with the Hispanics. They're the growing population. Y'all gonna have to. He's telling black people, these so-called leaders, what we gonna have to do. Wait a minute. How he gonna tell black people what we gonna have to do? And they sat up there and listened to him talk like this. And the only reason why we know about this is because this was leaked. This whole Zoom meeting was leaked, and I wish I knew who actually leaked this Zoom meeting, because I want to shake their hand. And as he's talking to them like that, it's funny how none of those black folks that were on this Zoom meeting, the Al Sharptons of the world, the Cedric Richardson of the world, the Derek Johnson of the world, NAACP, all these people, none of them came out on their own and had the courage and respect for us as black people to come out and say, Joe Biden talked to us disrespectfully. We're not going to tolerate this. We're going to hold him accountable. We're going to jump all over his you-know-what. as he talked down to black people during this whole discussion that he was having, or I don't call it a discussion, I call it a dictatorship. Him telling black people what we need to do, that we got no right to ask him, no, not ask, but demand of him what we want. You're seeing Joe Biden jumping back and forth in this audio, making excuses for why he can't do what we want. And we got this, and then we know why. If you're wondering why black people never get anything catered to them, we never can get anything, whether it be a reparations, whether it be anything, programs tailored to our needs and our issues, tailored to us, not other people jumping on board, not other people riding our coattails, because there's a lot of people in this society who have been riding our coattails. Now we know why we're not getting anywhere, because we have the wrong type of leadership. We have no leadership because they are simply capitulating to Joe Biden. Whatever master say, we do. You sick, master? Me sick, master. I'm telling you out there, ladies and gentlemen, I'd rather be a field Negro than a house Negro, because a field Negro despises the so-called master. The house Negro looks up to the so-called master. The house Negro, when the house catches on fire, the house Negro, he prays for rain. The field Negro, he prays that the house burns down. We've got a lot of, and Malcolm X said that we have a lot of house Negroes running around here today, disguising themselves as our leaders, calling themselves leaders. They can't even stand up when this man is talking down to them, and they didn't even come out and talk to us about it. We had to find out about this through leaked information. Let me continue this.
You shouldn't be disappointed. What I've done so far is more than anybody else has done this.
He says you shouldn't be disappointed, black folks. He's done more than anybody else, according to him. Let's hear some more of the Joe Biden pimp game.
Okay, number one. Number two, I mean what I say when I say it.
Woo! Joe Biden, man. Woo! Listen to him. Man, he got a strong pimp game. I'm telling y'all. Let me put this on the screen. Tariq Nasheed used this as a thumbnail on his channel. He said, I say what I say when I say it. Woo, I say what I say when I say it. Laughable, boy. And they took it. They took the tongue lashing that he gave them. It's funny. It's funny, ladies and gentlemen. He took it. They took it. They took everything that Joe Biden had to say, everything he had to lay down. They took the tongue lashing that Joe Biden had to lay down on them. Unbelievable. Let's hear some more of this by Joe Biden. If I can get back to where I left off.
But it was also a space for an airing of, if not grievances, at least slight disappointments, and a forum for civil rights leaders to lobby Biden on everything from personnel to executive action to legislation. Many of those in the meeting urged Biden to be aggressive in his use of executive power.
I want to ask that you consider issuing an executive order to create a national task force to examine challenges to our democracy, a national voter access commission.
It's going to be important, for example, that one of your first actions is a reversal of the executive order that President Trump promulgated that essentially seeks to gag conversations about diversity, race, and history among anyone who contracts with the federal government. And so we would ask you to lend your voice and your strength and your influence and your power and your ability to reach across the aisle to try and pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. But failing that, we would ask you to pull from that act measures that can be enacted by executive order. You have the power to call for a national database on police misconduct. You have the power to ask for a registry that will allow people to easily search in public multiple misconduct complaints against particular officers. You have the ability to.
Everything that she's saying is true. He does have these abilities, but wait until you hear what he says, folks.
Impose a database around police killings and police shootings. And these are things that you can do by executive order. There is a prison tragedy that is unfolding because of COVID. I encourage you to use your power to order an investigation of state and local prisons and jails to find out precisely what is happening. And you have that power through the Department of Justice.
And here's Al Sharpton.
We don't care about throwing fists in the air and the symbols. We want the substance. The Joe Biden I've known is substance. The Kamala Harris I've known is substance. We need it now more than ever. And I would hope that the first day you start doing the things with your executive orders to restore some dignity to law enforcement in our community and to voting.
Biden, in fact, has an enormous amount of power as president. 2 episodes ago, we devoted an entire show to just that. It turns out that Biden does not appear to be a deconstructed subscriber.
So what the man is saying is that Biden does have a lot of powers, but he's saying that he's not a deconstructive type of individual, that he's not an individual that has the courage to change things. And you see Reverend Al Sharpton was telling him that he has faith in him. And I'm saying to myself, how could you have faith in a man who was involved in the 94 crime bill? And there were many other people involved in that crime bill, ladies and gentlemen. You had other black politicians. You had members of the Congressional Black Caucus that were also giving their blessing to it. You had preachers, ham hock eating preachers that, well, you know, jack-a-leg preachers that were contributing.
Tell the truth.
That were contributing to that crime bill and singing Joe Biden's praises. See, we forget, some of us are not old enough to remember, and some of us are, that when Joe Biden did this, he had a lot of black leadership that was praising him for it. Clap, 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 clap. I mean, do I need to play the clap, clap, clap for y'all here tonight? Here we go. Saying, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord, we've done it. We're going to get the thugs out of our community, right? And so what ended up happening is that more black men went to jail than a little bit. And remember, when Bill Clinton was in office, you had more black men going to jail for rock cocaine, and you had white boys getting caught with powder cocaine, but they weren't going to jail. You had black people who had been hooked on crack cocaine who became criminalized. They were criminalized because of their drug habits. And today, in the 21st century, white folks are getting high off of methamphetamine and all kind of drugs and prescription drugs. And now they're not being criminalized for it. We're being told that these are patients. These are people who have a disorder. These are people who have a disease. These are people that need clinical help and therapy and treatment. We got to treat them as patients. But they treated your black behind as a criminal.
Tell the truth.
Let's get back to more of this. So Al Sharpton, he tried to tell Joe Biden what his concerns were, but then flipped it around and said he had faith in Joe Biden. And last time I checked, I don't think Al Sharpton came on his television show or his radio show. If I'm not mistaken, somebody correct me. I don't think he came out and called Joe Biden out for how disrespectful he was to the people. How very disrespectful this man was to those folks. And and to me, it's a disrespect to me and you as black people who voted for him, those who voted for him, who went out and took the time to get in line for him. And this is what a lot of people were concerned about, that the Democrats, they take us for granted. They get our votes when we go out in droves and vote for them. And then when it comes time to do something for us, we're told, get your ass to the back of the bus. Don't tell me what you want. Look, I'm the only guy to ever. No, don't tell me. You just better work with the Hispanics because they're the population, man. I don't want to hear your needs, what you want, or your demands. Get out of my face. That's what you get from Joe Biden and a lot of these politicians. That's what you've gotten from Democrats year in and year out. And it's getting to the point where we're going to have to re-examine why we as black people continue to give our vote for this party when they take us for granted, and then we have black leadership that doesn't even come out and call this man out in public and say, you had no business disrespecting us in this manner. We're going to make you pay for this. Let me go right ahead and get back to the audio and let y'all finish the audio right here. Here we go.
Here's how he responded to those calls.
There's some things that I'm going to be able to do by executive order. I'm not going to hesitate to do it. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to do what used to, Vanita, you probably used to get angry.
Now he's telling black people what he's not going to do. Wait a minute, man. This is where we get it twisted, ladies and gentlemen. Politicians work for us. We don't work for politicians. But now he's talking about this is what I'm gonna do. Don't tell me what to do. I tell you what to do. This is the pimp hand of Joe Biden. This is the pimp hand of Joe Biden. Let's hear more of this.
With me during the debates, when you'd have some of the people you were supporting said, on day one, I'm going to executive order to do this. Not within the constitutional authority. I am not going to violate the Constitution. There is a Constitution.
So when black people are asking for tangibles or asking for something that we want, or our so-called misleadership class is asking for something, Joe Biden makes the excuse that he's not going to violate the Constitution. However, he does have the right to make executive orders. Hell, Donald Trump did whatever he wanted. And of course, he's going to say, well, just like Obama, who got up there in that Breakfast Club interview talking about, Trump broke all these laws and blah, 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 blah. More excuses. Excuses are tools of the incompetent, and those who use them, seldom succeed. This is nothing but excuses now for Joe Biden to get out, to get a out of jail card, to make excuses for why he can't do what so-called black leadership is asking him to do. And in the end, we as black people on Main Street are the ones that will suffer the most, because we have a president that's already now, or a president-elect who's already now making excuses about he don't want to break the law when it comes to doing something that we're asking him to do. When black women voted for him 93%, black men voted for him 86%. And he's telling you and me what he ain't going to do. Go right ahead.
Our only hope, and the way to deal with it is where I have executive authority, I will use it to undo every single damn thing this guy has done by executive authority. But I'm not going to exercise executive authority where it's questioned, where I can come along and say, I can do away with assault weapons. There's no executive authority to do away with that.
Black people ain't asking for no do away with assault weapons. Matter of fact, black people are not pushing the agenda in this country to do away with assault weapons. Last time I checked, ADOS and Foundational, we're talking about reparations. We're talking about black people always, we needing job opportunity, job training, entrepreneurship, all these different things, right? We got issues with police killing us, doing harm to us, right? We have health disparity issues. There's a lot of issues that we need to be handled that has nothing to do. Assault rifle is not on the top of black people's priorities in America. So I don't know why Joe Biden is using that as an example to make the excuse that he's making to say why he ain't going to do this and do that for black people as he talks to this so-called Miss Black leadership class that just took his tongue lashing, took his pimp hand, took it, and never came before us, the people, and said what they were going to do about the disrespect of Joe Biden. Let's hear some more of this buffoonery.
And no one's fought harder to get rid of assault weapons than me. Me. But you can't do it by executive order. You do.
Right there, you can see the narcissistic personality of Joe Biden. He says, me. Nobody has done this. Me. Wait a minute, man. You're not doing everything by yourself. You got other people out there, black organizations, so-called black organizations like the NAACP, that are pushing the envelope on certain issues. What do you mean you're doing everything by yourself? Me. It was black folks that got you over the finish line. Joe Biden, just like it was, he's right. Wait a minute, let me correct myself. Joe Biden is right when he says me. It was he who crafted that crime bill with the rest of those individuals in that racist government we called in this country called America. Yeah, it was you, Biden. It was you who sent more black men to jail unnecessarily with your crime bill. It was you who said to black people, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black enough. Oh yeah, it was you, Joe Biden, that said that. It was you, Joe Biden, that said, unlike black people, Hispanic people have many different views and ideas and political ideologies, unlike the black community. It was you that disrespected us when you said that. It was you. And it's just like it's you right now disrespecting us, but you disrespected the so-called black leadership that does nothing for us tangible right now, and you disrespect us as well continuously. Let me continue on with this audio.
That next guy comes along and says, well, guess what? By executive order, I'm going to say everybody can own machine guns again.
So what he said right there is that if I make an executive order that benefits a black agenda for black people, then he's afraid that this is more excuses, that he's afraid that someone else is going to come along and change the executive order that he puts into place after he's out of office. That's bull crap. Why would you not do something that we want you to do that benefits our community? Why would you not do it because you're afraid that when you're out of office, man, you're in office for 4 years, so we'll get 4 years benefit from it. Supposedly benefit, supposedly. We would get benefit from it for 4 years, at least 4 years of it, if someone was to come in and change the executive order. So this is more excuses. This is more BSing around. And we don't even have the leadership to shut this down. Here we go.
So we got to be careful. I know you all know this. I know you know it. And poor Kamala's heard me say this, and so has Cedric. I used to have a friend named Bob Gold, who was a really bright guy. Not much of it. We went to school together. He wasn't an academic whiz.
The Bob Gold story sadly doesn't go anywhere. The upshot of the anecdote is that he taught Biden the word overstand, which is a kind of black power term from back in the day that was used as a stand-in for understand, but adding in an element of higher level awareness.
He looked at me and said, Joe, I not only understand you, I overstand you.
Let me stop it right there. I want to remind people again, they were talking about Cedric Richmond, who was a congressman, and he used to be the president, if I'm not mistaken, of the Congressional Black Caucus. Cedric is now the head in charge right now in the Biden administration to be, because he's president-elect. He will be the guy that will be like his liaison, his advisor. Cedric Richmond is the same individual, as I said before in the beginning of the program, that lied to Ice Cube when he told Ice Cube, or the Democratic Party told Ice Cube that we would look at, Ice Cube said that the Democratic Party said that they would look at his contract with Black America. And Cedric sat up there and denied that he gave any promise. This is the same Cedric that Joe Biden was just talking about. who's supposed to be our black leader. This is the same Cedric who talked. Let me show you guys something. I gotta put this in perspective here before I go back to that audio. I want to show you guys something here. If I can find what I'm looking for. Okay. Give me 1 minute before I can pop this up. Let me see if I can. Hang on, let me play a little bit of music because I got something that's not working right. Hang on, folks. I appreciate everybody being here. And okay, there it is. It's going to pop up. Let me put it right across here. Boom. Okay, so that's Cedric, who is, like I said, he's going to be the advisor to Joe Biden. And I want to take something off the screen. There we go. Okay. And then let me take something else off the screen real quick. Give me 1 minute. There we go. Okay. So right there you can see Cedric Richmond. This is on his Twitter. He says that South Asian Americans are here largely because of the Vietnam War. The time is now to help protect these communities from deportation. They've played a major role in my district and in the cities across America. So he's talking about another group. These black leaders keep caping for these other groups more than they even cape for us. Okay? And let me show you something here. Let me show you something here. It's something I want to show you guys. So Cedric was talking about that, and where is that article that I wanted to show you? To remind everybody of what happened. Here we are. Hopefully this will come out. Okay, remember this lady right here, councilwoman. She's Vietnamese. She apologized for calling black people greasy fried chicken. She made a comment in New Orleans about black people being greasy chicken eaters. And she's from the very community that Cedric is caping for. Take that off the screen. Let me put something else on the screen here for you all to see real quick. And hopefully that'll cover up there. Remember South Carolina Representative James Clyburn influenced congressmen who endorsed to help Biden win South Carolina primary, revealed that his campaign said that the last month he would like to see Biden pick Richmond for cabinet position. So this is the same man who tried to lie and say that Ice Cube was lying about the fact that he said that Ice Cube would get a meeting with the Democratic Party, that they would look over his plan. He lied and said that Ice Cube was not telling the truth. And as I showed you guys earlier in the program, and put this back on the screen, Ice Cube said to him like a man, instead of going back and forth, Congressman, please release the Zoom meeting so the world can see what was said by all. This was on the Twitter feed. This was Ice Cube, because this man who's supposed to be a black leader, this is why we're not getting anywhere, because we don't have any real black leadership, ladies and gentlemen. We don't really have anybody really caping for us and our issues. We got these so-called Congressional Black Caucus members like Cedric Richmond, who's now the advisor to Biden. He's got him a little promotion. We got people like him caping for other groups of people who make fun of us, who talk down on us. in the very community that he represents. And then he lies on Brother Ice Cube. I just had to put that up there to add some perspective again, that we have the wrong leadership, or we have no leadership, to be quite frankly, when it comes to these so-called black folks. And Cedric was on that call when Biden was talking down the way he was. I just gotta let y'all, remind y'all of that. Here, let's hear the rest of this audio.
I'm sure you overstand me here.
Biden also heard from the NAACP's Johnson, whose organization, among many others, had been pushing to have Representative Marcia Fudge named as Agriculture Secretary. The Biden camp had been leaning toward picking Tom Vilsack, who had also served as Obama's Secretary of Agriculture.
That's Derek
Johnson let him know
Johnson.
it would be a disastrous idea.
I would like to caution you in terms of the opportunity to get good people confirmed in the Senate. It would result in the outcome of this Georgia election. Anything that could peel off any of the votes would be something that could be harmful to the outcome. Former Secretary Vilsack could have a disastrous impact on voters in Georgia. Shirley Sherrod is a civil rights legend, a hero. I live in the state of Mississippi. I'm surrounded by civil rights icons, and I understand the reverence that many of them have, particularly in rural areas.
Johnson is being delicate there. His point that if Biden doesn't win Georgia, he'll struggle to get his people confirmed is a solid one, but he's being polite. It'll also block his entire legislative agenda. But our younger listeners might not remember the story of Shirley Sherrod, who Johnson mentions at the end of that clip. Let's take you back to July 19th, 2010, when Andrew Breitbart posted.
I want to stop there. How many of you remember Shirley Sherrod and what happened to her? How she got railroaded? Let me see in the chat room right now. I haven't looked at the chat room in a while. How many people remember the story? Because I'm going to play it. It's a part of the audio. How many people remembered how Shirley Sherrod got railroaded? If you remember, put a 1 in the chat room. If you don't know anything about this, put a 2 in the chat room before I play this audio. I don't. Yes, I remember another. Okay. Watch says, yeah, yes, I remember another act of treason from Biden. Real Aaron Collins does not know. Africa News Channel did not know. Earl Owens is aware. Rob Allbanks is aware of what he was saying. And let me see what Brown Breaking Radio is saying. Now, he's calling me a fraud. I don't know why he's calling me a fraud. I'm basically critiquing what Joe Biden has said out of his mouth. So I don't care what you think, Black Ground Radio. I'm not a fraud of any kind. I'm simply playing what's coming out of Joe Biden's mouth and how he's talking down to black leadership. And I'm simply saying if black people voted for Joe Biden, women at 93%, and black men at 86%, we shouldn't have to hear Joe Biden telling us what we need to do. We shouldn't have to hear him telling us that we need to get with the program and we need to focus on the Latinos because they're the group that's growing and we need to capitulate to them. We shouldn't hear this man telling us what he can't do when he can do these things. This is an audio that was leaked that he didn't want anybody to hear. And the so-called black leadership should have come out and exposed this to us all to know about it. But the fact that we had to hear about it because someone leaked it, and none of the so-called black leadership that met with him came out publicly and said that they leaked it. None of them have taken credit for it. No one. So it ain't about being a joke. It's about critiquing. And matter of fact, for Black Ground Radio Network, if you're still listening out there, if you look at the content on my channel, I've got videos where I've gone in on Donald Trump. I don't like Donald Trump either. Both these political parties play both games with both They play games with both black people on both sides. The Democrats play games and the Republicans play games. I'm not a fan of either party. I'm equal opportunity get you. I'll talk about what Republicans are doing wrong to us. I'll talk about what Democrats have done wrong to us. Matter of fact, I've done it on my channel. And everybody in the chat room and everybody that knows my channel knows that. Got time for your games, man. You like to get on panels and spend all your time arguing with people. You ain't going to be doing that over here. Get out of here. Somebody blocked him, good, I don't care. That was the reason why I had him blocked before anyway. Should have never unblocked that fool. Nonsense. Let me see what everybody's saying in the chat room right now. You know, if we can't critique, let me just say this, folks. If we can't critique, whether it be Joe Biden, whether it be Donald Trump, whether it be Bill Clinton, hell, we definitely had to critique Obama. I remember black people were hard on George Bush Jr. We had criticism for him. No matter, I don't care who you are. If you're doing something or you're saying something that's a disrespect to our people, we have the right to call you out for it. We have the right to call you out for it. And to Black Ground Radio, because I know you like to get on people's panels and argue with people, my challenge to you, brother, what are you doing in the community? Because I can tell you what I'm doing when I get off these airwaves. I can tell you what I'm doing, brother. And I can tell you that when I grew up, I didn't like Ronald Reagan. I grew up under the Ronald Reagan era. I didn't like George Bush Jr. I didn't like Ronald Reagan. I didn't like Jimmy Crackcorn Carter. I didn't like Bill Clinton once I realized that Bill Clinton was a shyster too. I liked Obama in the beginning, and then near the end, I realized he was a shyster too. And well, I'm going to say it again. I realized over a period of time, well, I already realized I didn't like Donald Trump before he became president. I had problems with Trump going all the way back to the Central Five and how he treated the Central Five. And I got problems with Joe Biden and the things that he did with that crime bill. And I already said that it wasn't just him. There were a lot of other people that participated in that crime bill that have to be held accountable. Now, let me play the rest of this so you guys can, so everybody, every wonderful person in the chat room can hear the audio of Shirley Sherrod and how they railroaded this sister. And here we go.
Posted a short clip of her speaking before an NAACP audience. At the time, Sherrod was the Georgia State Director of Rural Development for the Agriculture Department.
You know, the first time I was faced with having to help a white farmer save his farm, he took a long time talking, but he was trying to show me he was superior to me. Right. I knew what he was doing, right, but he had to come to me for help. What he didn't know while he was taking all that time trying to show me he was superior to me, because I was trying to decide just how much help I was going to give him. I was struggling with the fact that so many black people have lost their farmland, and here I was faced with having to help a white person save their land. So I didn't give him the full force of what I could do.
By the end of the day, she'd been fired, with Vilsack saying that she had to go because she was an obstacle to the agency's effort to reckon with its troubled past on racial justice issues. Sherrod, who was married to civil rights legend Reverend Charles Sherrod, said she'd been taken out of context and that she was telling a story of growth, redemption, and rethinking, not one of hate. The NAACP, after she'd been canned, found the full audio of her talks, and here's the critical part that was left out.
So I took him to a white lawyer. I figured if I take him to one of them, that his own kind would take care of him. That's when it was revealed to me that y'all, it's about poor versus those who have. And not so much about white. It is about white and black, but it's not, you know, it opened my eyes, because I took him to one of his own, and I put him in his hand and felt, okay, I've done my job.
From there, Sherrod talks about how the lawyer didn't actually do anything and the farmer came to her in desperation a week before the foreclosure. She scrambled and found an attorney who'd worked with the area's black farmers and urged him to take the man's case. Here was her conclusion.
Working with him made me see that it's really about those who have versus those who don't. You know, and they could be black, they could be white, they could be Hispanic. And it made me...
Let me stop right there. That's the thing about black people. You hear in her voice after how she was railroaded, you see how this black woman once again showed a level of empathy and sympathy for the white man. She said that she tried to put him in a direction where she felt he would get help. And then she came back and said that she realized that people are people and they all need help. So once again, this shows you how black people, all the things that our people have gone through, we will still show humility. We'll still show love for other people. We will show love for people who have been a part of the class that has oppressed us. And we will turn around and still try. So they tried to make it seem like she did a reverse discrimination against him, when in fact she actually did take the time to direct him and get him help. And guess what happened? His own people turned their back on him. What she's trying to say here, let me play the rest of this.
Realized then that I needed to work to help poor people, those who don't have access the way others had.
So she said she realized that she needed to help poor people, whether they're white, black, whatever color. That's what she came to the conclusion, right? But she got railroaded big time when she actually, in the end, when it all was said and done, she actually did the right thing for this man. But nobody talked about that. But she got railroaded. Let's go back to the audio.
After that, Vilsack apologized and offered her a job back at the USDA.
See?
But this new job would focus on fixing the agency's race issues. She said she didn't want that burden and turned it down. Flash forward 10 years again and back to Johnson.
Shirley Sherrod is a civil rights legend, a hero. I live in the state of Mississippi. I'm surrounded by civil rights icons, and I understand the reverence that many of them have, particularly in rural areas. So I want to make sure that as you consider appointments, that you do so with November 5th in mind, so that we don't miss an opportunity to be able to get confirmed some of the outstanding candidates that you're going to bring forward. If you decide to take that route, I strongly encourage you to reach out to Ms. Sherrod, have a conversation with her. I strongly encourage you to talk to black farmers so that you have a clear understanding of the impact any decision can have on the January 5th election. It is our goal as NAACP, it is our goal as civil rights community for this administration to be successful. And it can only be the success we need it to be if we have the ability to get good people confirmed.
Biden, however, used the warning on Sherrod as a jumping off point for a counter warning. Don't push too hard on police reform, he told the group. At least not now.
One of the things I'd be concerned about, just as
I got to stop it right there. This is the BS. So for people coming in talking about, man, you a fraud talking about this. No, this is legitimate. Biden told these so-called black leaders not to, and you can hear the narrator. The narrator is saying these things too. He told them not to push so hard on police reform when we got black men out here being killed. You got a black man who got shot in Ohio going home with sandwiches in his hand, Subway sandwiches, keys in door. He gets shot in the back while he's got his family members around him, kids. I'm going to show you guys an audio that will probably make you cry tonight. You got a sister, Anita Young, in Chicago. The cops went into her house, treated her poorly. They did a no-knock warrant on her, went to the wrong home. She could have been like Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor hasn't gotten justice yet. Jacob Blake getting shot in the back. We got black people out here catching a lot of pain, people getting their lives taken away, and Joe Biden is telling them we can't press that hard on on reforming police and all that sort of stuff. Now the argument is that he's going to make here is that, well, you can't be talking all of this reform, defund the police. There's been no political candidate. Nobody ran on defunding the police. Joe Biden didn't run on it. Kamala Harris didn't run on it. Nobody in this past election ran on that. And defunding the police does not mean that you just defund the police and you don't give them any money. Defunding the police is saying, let's take some of the money that you give the police and let's put it into social services. Let's put it into people that work in psychology so that when you got somebody that's got a mental problem, the police who are ill-equipped to deal with people like that, they can call specialists in to come in and could talk that person down because they're trained in it. I know because I work in mental health. That's what defunding the police really means. It's mean take some of that money and create agencies or create programs for people to be able to step in and do that which the police are not equipped to do. But people get it all wrong. They get the definition of it wrong. Let's hear how Joe Biden puts down the pimp hand again, saying what he ain't gonna do. I ain't gonna do this and I ain't gonna do that.
Pointed out to me that you wanted me to be concerned, Derek, I think it was you said it, about, dealing with Vilsack as in terms of agriculture. Well, first of all, you can learn more about Vilsack's record, but my point is this. I don't think we should make that a big issue going into before January 5th, when the election takes place down in Georgia. But I also don't think we should get too far ahead of ourselves on dealing with police reform.
He's telling them, the black leaders, these are the people who come to our churches. These are the people that tell us that they're our leaders. He's telling them we should not push the issue in Georgia in particular about police reform. While black people have out here dying because we've been harmed by police. That's black people on Main Street, which I talked about before. But he's saying, hold up, don't get into that. He's telling them what to do. Basically, what he's doing in this meeting is he's giving them talking points. He's showing you that he has talking points. He's displaying his agenda, which is we're not going to touch this because it's too sensitive of an issue. He's basically doing what politicians do. See, in politics, there's no permanent friends. There's no permanent enemies. There's only permanent interests. Joe Biden is doing what a politician does. He's just trying to survive. He's not trying to shake up anything, push the envelope. He just wants to survive and throw out peanuts and popcorn to black people. Shh, y'all be quiet, man. Don't push the envelope. Joe Biden saying, don't y'all push the envelope.
That because they've already labeled us as being defund the police. Anything we put forward in terms of the organizational structure to change policing, which I promise you will occur. Promise you. Just think to yourself and give me advice whether we should do that before January 5th, because that's how they beat the living hell out of us across the country, saying that we're talking about defunding the police.
Now, he wants black people, or he wants these so-called black leaders to believe that by saying that would somehow lose the election for them. But the reality is you didn't have the people that were saying defund the police were the people out there protesting. It was young people. The people that were saying that narrative were people that consider themselves progressives, not moderate Democrats. Joe Biden is not a progressive. He's a moderate Democrat. He plays both sides of the angle, Republican and Democrat. He's moderate. So he's not a progressive candidate. So, and everybody knows that. And the people that were saying that were the people that were being labeled as radicals, people that were more what you would call progressives, people that were far, far to the left, people that were out there protesting saying, yeah, defund the police. it was the people out there that were making that argument. It wasn't anyone within the political circle of Joe Biden and those that were running that were really pushing the narrative of let's defund the police. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, I showed you a video of Joe Biden about a month or so ago where he was asked on the stage during the Democratic primaries, what about reparations? And he never answered the question about what he was going to do or what he thought about reparations. He started going into talking about immigrants and how we better get over that immigrants are the future. They're a part of America, and we better get over it. And he never answered the question about black people. He was asked a question specifically about black people, and he moved right over to talking about what he was going to do for immigrants, never said anything about the issue of reparations. And this is the same man that when he met in secret, or when he met with these black leaders on this Zoom call, he did the same thing again. He said, y'all better get with the program because the immigrants are the future of this country. Latinos are the future, and y'all better get with them because they're the hot, shiny toy. He did the same thing again. He put immigrants above his most loyal voting constituents, and that's black people, black women at 93% and black men at 86%. These immigrants are other people of color, as they're calling it. They did not even vote at the level that black people voted for Joe Biden. And he's telling me, he's telling you, and he told them, y'all best to do this, and I ain't gonna do that, or I can't do this. And then we got somebody coming in the chat room who has the audacity to say that I'm a fraud. No, you're the fraud, just like Joe Biden is a fraud. If this is how he addresses the black leadership, everything he was saying impacts us on Main Street. This meeting, this Zoom call, we were not supposed to hear this Zoom call. This shows you how they meet behind the curtains and they cut these deals and they do this and they give you your marching orders. He's giving the marching orders as to what he wants them to say. He's giving them the narrative and the talking points. Let's go back to it.
We're not. We're talking about holding them accountable. I just raised it with you to think about. How much do we push between now and January 5th? We need those 2 seats about police reform, but I guarantee you there will be a full-blown commission.
Now, Derek Johnson, let me put his picture back up here, the president of the NAACP. Derek Johnson just told Joe Biden, which it's obvious that Joe Biden did not pay attention to what Derek Johnson said. He told Joe Biden that it would be in his best interest to put Shirley Sherrod into a position in his administration over, I believe, over agriculture, if I'm not mistaken, because she could fix some of the problems. Now, they wanted her to come in. They wanted her to come in over agriculture. Let me correct myself. They wanted her to come in and work in agriculture and deal with some of the racial issues, but she turned that down. But Derek Johnson told Joe Biden that he needs to get her involved in a position in the administration because she's from Georgia, and that would really boost his opportunity to win Georgia and particularly help in the battle over Senate seats. Now, that's what Derek Johnson was trying to explain to Joe Biden as he's telling them, y'all best to be quiet. Don't push the apple cart. Can't do this right now. No, we don't want to do that. And he's already telling him, if you put that woman in place within your administration, it could pay dividends for you, Joe Biden. But he didn't listen to Derek Johnson. No, he didn't. He just went on with his own rhetoric, ladies and gentlemen. And let me go back to that audio.
I guarantee you it's a major, major, major element. And as Reverend Al said, I was a pain in the ass to everybody except him when we did the commission before. I didn't think we went far enough. We can go very far. It matters how we do it. I think it matters how we do it. As I learned early on, it's all right to question your opponents, and you're not my opponents, any of you. It's always appropriate to question your opponent's judgment. It's never appropriate to question their motive, even if you know it. Because once you question their motive, you're done. You can't get anything done. By the way, let's talk about building highways. By the way, you're in the pocket of the cement industry. Now, what can we do together? Not a chance of getting anything done. So we can be tough, question judgment, not motive to get things done.
You are listening to
I'm going to
Information
yield
Man. Please
to
make sure to
my
subscribe to his
Vice
channel.
President, and she can correct all the mistakes I made.
I've been feeling emotional, thinking about you, babe. What can we focus on?
Information is power.
What we should do, tell me the truth. Cause I don't wanna see you with somebody else. And I've been feeling lonely in this king-size bed. I'm trying not to worry about the things you say. I ain't got the time, you're always on my mind. Baby, why you playing with my...
Let me go to the chat room and get people's opinion. Can you all do me a favor? This is what I'm going to do next. While this is the thing, why Joe Biden's talking about we can't push the issue of police reform, while Joe Biden is telling these so-called black leaders what they need to do, what they need to do. Y'all need to get with the Latinos because they're the group. Y'all need to do this. I ain't going to do an executive order on this. I ain't going to do an executive order on this. The same Joe Biden who signed that crime bill in 94, while he's talking what he's not going to do, and why he's telling black people what we need to do. You got black people being mistreated in this society. Now, let me bring up something too before let me put something on the screen. You all are familiar with Michael Eric Dyson. I've got problems with Michael Eric Dyson right now because the brother, I'm disappointed in some of his recent activities on media. Right here, Michael Eric Dyson says Joe Biden paid the debt owed to black people. What is he talking about? Somebody please tell me, what is Eric? This is laughable. What is he talking about? I'm going to hit the laugh button one more time. What is he talking about? Please, somebody tell me, what is this man talking about? He says, Michael Eric Dyson says Joe Biden paid the debt owed to black America by picking a black man for Secretary of Defense. Don Lemon got the man's name wrong during the segment. CNN's Don Lemon and his guests praise former Vice President Joe Biden for picking a black man as Secretary of Defense. Now, I'm going to say this again. There has never been a black Secretary of Defense, right? That's military. Guess what? I'm not a big fan of military. I'm not a big fan of people going to war. I don't want to go to war. I don't want to see people getting hurt, right? I understand the symbolicness of this. You never had a black man as Secretary of Defense. I get it. But the question I'm going to say, like I said in the beginning of the program, is that really black people's biggest issue right now? Because it ain't like the brother can use the military to benefit black people on the ground level to fight our battles with this racism and this white supremacy in this society. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm saying a crazy thing here, but there's a lot of other issues that we need addressed. It's great for symbolism It's very symbolic to have black people put in certain positions, key positions. It sounds good. You hope that when they're in those positions that we as a people get a benefit from them being in that position. That's what I hope. But I'm still more focused on what Joe Biden is doing for black people at the ground level, meaning black people that are living throughout this whole country, that are at that kitchen table doing kitchen table economics where you're counting the money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is what I got for bills. 1, 2, 3. How many of y'all grew up in the 80s? How many of y'all millennials, y'all remember this? Your parents at the table and they're counting the money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's for rent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's for the light bill. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's for the gas bill. Boom, boom. That's for water. That's for da-da-da-da-da-da. Right? Those of us who grew up in that kind of environment, we've seen our parents, our uncles at the kitchen table. I'm concerned about what Joe Biden's administration is going to do for the kitchen table black person. Not a black person who's got high education, who's got money in the pocket. They're middle class, upper middle class. They're doing fine. They're doing fine. They're getting the positions in government. What about the brother who's not getting any money? We got a lot of people that's losing money across this country where we got this funky government that only wants to spend $9 billion on giving another stimulus package. Why $9 billion? Why not $20 billion? Why not 40? Why not think big? A lot of people out here hurting. You even got white folks out here hurting some of them are hurting for the first time. Black people, we've always been hurting. Black people have been I'm going to tell you right now, black people have always been in a pandemic. We've always been in a state of lockdown. We're in lockdown when we go out. We're subject to a mistreatment by the cops. You had the young brother, Casey Goodson, who goes out to get his teeth cleaned. He goes out to get some food for his family, some Subway sandwiches, and he gets shot in the back. Man doesn't have a criminal history. Matter of fact, he had a license to carry a gun in an open carry state. This is what we're subject to. So we already been on a lockdown, ladies and gentlemen. Black people have already been in a pandemic. That pandemic has been American society on our behinds, on our necks. And we got Michael Eric Dyson sitting up here talking about Joe Biden and paid a debt that he owed us. No, Eric Dyson, that's laughable again. He hasn't paid any debts.
Problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
You hear what he said? Now let's go into the audio. I want y'all to hear the video where he's talking about this further. Let me go into that real quick before I get into the next video clip. This is very important. Let me get out of this right quick. There we go. And let me go right into the media right now and let y'all see what I'm talking about. This is Eric Dyson talking to Don Lemon, continuing the buck dance, talking about Joe Biden. And everybody in the chat room that's still here with me tonight, I appreciate you being here. I know I haven't called many people out in the chat room. It's no disrespect to anybody. What's up, Zone? I appreciate it. I'm trying to stay focused. I see we got Old Head Deuce in the house. Peace to Old Head Deuce. Peace to Tiffany Jackson, Earl Owens, Rob Allbanks. Let me see. African News Channel is in the house. African News Channel has been rocking with me very strong. And Rob Allbanks has been rocking with me strong too. I see you. I'm keeping tabs on folks that's rocking with me strong. Sir Rowe is with me too. Peace to you, brother. We got let me see this. Some chicken star. I'm saying it wrong, but peace to you for being here, sister. Let me see. Let me give you a piece by highlighting your name, putting it in the chat room and saying peace to you. I appreciate you coming over. I think I saw you on George Makum's channel today. He had a powerful live stream today, and I appreciate that. And we got Harvey in the house. Common sense information, man. What you're saying. Okay, so Sister Harvey, you're saying that Harvey, you're saying that what I'm saying is making common sense. I hope I'm making common sense, because somebody came in the chat room tonight and said I was talking crazy. And then y'all had to block that person. You had to put him in timeout and treat him like he was a third grade child or something like that, you know? And sometimes when people come in here and talk greasy like that, you got to treat them like they're a third grade child. You just got to. So I appreciate y'all coming over and supporting Brother Info Man tonight. And there we go. Got Radio Live up there. And let's go ahead and listen to Brother Eric Dyson continuing to saying sweet nothings about Joe Biden. Here we go.
Michael Austin, what do you think?
Oh, it's beautiful. Look, have you ever heard a president say before, I owe you, I owe you a debt, you hook me up, I'm hooking you up? I've never heard a president. I've studied presidential rhetoric.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, he says, I hook you up. He says, I never heard a president say, I hook you up, you hook me up. When did you ever hear Joe Biden say directly that he's hooking black people up? Now, to the brother who is going to be Secretary of Defense, I give him all the respect that he is due. He has worked hard to get where he is. I'm not disparaging that brother whatsoever. But although Joe Biden put a black man, or will possibly put a black man in charge of defense, because he still has to go through a committee, and the Republicans might turn it down, because if Joe Biden doesn't get Georgia, and Derek Johnson told him, put Shirley Sherrod in a position of power in your administration, and it's going to resonate with you getting ready, with you being able to get those Senate seats that you need. If they don't get those Senate seats, there's no guarantee that Joe Biden's pick of a black man as Secretary of Defense is going to happen. So Michael Eric Dyson is speaking prematurely because it hasn't been official yet. Therefore, Joe Biden, I hope you're with me, ladies and gentlemen. Put a 1 in the chat room if you're with me. Therefore, Joe Biden hasn't paid any debt to black people. That's the facts. Let's hear this again. I got to let y'all hear this again. Go right ahead. Here we go.
I owe you. I owe you a debt. You hook me up, I'm hooking you up. I've never heard a president. I've studied presidential rhetoric. I've studied presidents' interactions with black America. I've never heard that. And so the attempt to follow up and to follow through by President-elect Joe Biden is worthy of note. And I think he's been doing a very good job so far. You got to balance all the considerations of the competing interests that are vying for your time and representation. But I think black people are well deserved. And this choice of General Austin today is truly outstanding.
I got my Michaels out of context.
Whoa there. So, like I said, he was premature, ladies and gentlemen. This has not been official. It's not official. Come on, Brother Eric Dyson. It's laughable, ladies and gentlemen. Like I just said, if it made sense what I said, let me know. If they don't get those Senate seats in Georgia and the Republican Party control the Senate, they can determine who Biden can have in his administration and who he can't. They can have some sway. So there is no guarantee that the brother will be Secretary of Defense. Matter of fact, they said that he has to go through another committee because he he's been out of the military for a while. I think he just retired or something. I think they have to clear him through other channels. So there's no guarantee. So therefore, what is Michael Eric Dyson talking about? This is no win for black people yet. He hasn't been confirmed. And secondly, this is not him paying it forward. And oh my God, let's just hear this again.
Awesome. What do you think?
Oh, it's beautiful. Look, have you ever heard a president say before, I owe you, I owe you a debt, you hook me up, I'm hooking you up. I've never heard a president. I've studied presidential rhetoric. I've studied.
Oh, please, you're talking rhetoric yourself, Eric Dyson. He hasn't hooked us up. He hasn't hooked us up. The brother hasn't been confirmed yet. That's premature celebration, brother, prematurely. What are you doing? You're premature in your celebration, Eric Dyson. You're popping the fireworks too soon, brother. Come on now. We haven't gotten past the finish line. Hell, he hasn't even had his inauguration. He hasn't even gone over the oath yet. Donald Trump is still in office to January the 20th. And you're sitting up here celebrating like celebration time. Come on, man. We ain't got there yet. We ain't there yet. What are you doing, Joe Biden? I mean, excuse me, I'm out of my mind right now. What are you doing, brother Eric Dyson Clayton? Michael Eric Dyson, let me put some respect on your name. What are you talking about? He hasn't been confirmed yet, and it ain't paying black people no damn debt. Now, if you want to pay black people a debt, y'all know what that debt is. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in the chat room, y'all should know what the debt is without me having to tell you. Everybody in the chat room, if you're on the same wavelength with me, write in the chat room right now, what is the debt that is owed to black people in America? Put it in the chat room. I want to see how many people are on top of this right now without me even saying the word. You should already know what that debt is. Put it in the chat room right now. I'm going to see how many of you are on top of it. Come on now. This is the breaking news.
Information is power.
Come on, everybody. Let us know what that debt is. I'm going to see how many people get it right. Come on. Cut the check. That's right. What does cut the check mean? That's right. Reparations. Come on. I want to see the whole chat room filled up with the word reparations. Come on. Give it to me. Reparations. Come on. Put it in there. Fill that chat room up with that word. That's right. See, y'all on, man, that's why I love my audience. That's why I love y'all in the chat room and those that are listening right now, because we're on the same vibration. We're vibrating on the same energy tonight. That's right. Reparations. Land. We need land. As my BLIO brothers would say, we need land, nationhood, right? Land, nationhood. We need nationhood and land. And we need, the one that I can't leave out, we need infrastructure. Land, infrastructure, and nationhood. That's right. That's the debt that's owed, not putting a black person in a position, and then because you put a black person in a position, which, hey, more power to those black folks that get their positions, but I'm saying just because you put black people in a position in your administration, that's not the debt that's owed to black people when you really break it down. Come on. I'm just telling it like it is, everybody, whether you like it.
Tell the truth.
Or not. Let me go into this other video that I want y'all to see here. This is on the Roland Martin show, and this is where they're talking about Brother Lloyd Austin. And I'm going to say this again. The brother has an incredible background. He is more than well qualified to be appointed to this position. So let's hear this small little clip on the Roland Martin show about him. And once again, they were very excited about the appointment as well. And I say, okay, on the one hand, it's a great appointment because it's never happened before. But we still need something on Main Street. And let's go with this right now, ladies and gentlemen. And here we go.
Major deal there, Joseph Williams, that Joe Biden has chosen for one of his significant national security positions, Lloyd Austin, to be in that position. There were a lot of people. They were talking about Jay Johnson, who was under the head of the Department of Homeland Security under Obama. But Lloyd Austin becomes the first African-American ever to be the Secretary of Defense for the United States. That is big news there, Joseph.
Yes, a big shout out to Joe Biden, who's actually keeping a campaign promise here with this one. He said that he was going to create a cabinet that was as diverse as anyone has ever seen in the history of the United States. And this was a significant pick. Not only do you have one of the first African-American 4-stars in the U.S. military coming aboard as Secretary of Defense, but you have someone with impeccable credentials, as you said, somebody who is almost guaranteed to get conferred by the Senate and who will bring a different perspective to this job. So I think it's a major pick. I know that Biden was under some pressure over the last few days to continue picking minorities for this position. He was under pressure to get picks an African.
Don't deny that I could use some company. All my friends say, honey, just let him be. Now your perfume stuck on my shirt, and there's an empty left in my bed. I don't know about you, I'd put you first. I bought some new flowers, they're all dead. First you are in, then you are out, like snow in the spring. I just want your time. I just want your time, oh, time. I need your time. 365, 24/7, I'll be fine. As long as you spend a little time. Just want your time.
Okay, everybody. I hope you got everybody in the chat room. Let me ask this question. Are you understanding where I'm coming from on this situation? I'm not saying that black people being in key positions is a bad thing. I think it's a better thing if those black people are going to do something for us. If those black people are not in positions that can benefit us on the ground level, then it don't mean anything. Keep this in mind. In this country, we've had black mayors, we've had black aldermen, we've got black people, we got black police chiefs, we've got black mayors, and black people are still being treated like garbage. For example, let's look at the situation in Chicago with what happened to Anita. Let me go into my my media right now, and let's pull up. And this is gonna be man, this is one that makes me emotional right now. Sister Young in Chicago is a social worker of 20 years, folks, and the police in Chicago raided her house just like they did Breonna Taylor, and she's actually lucky to be alive. You see, these appointments within any administration, whether it be Donald Trump's administration or any political administration, when they put black people in key positions, doesn't mean anything if those black people don't have the power to deal with some of the problems that those of us on the streets are dealing with. Okay? It doesn't mean, and so although I give reverence and respect to those black folks who have worked their butt off to get where they are, and why Biden told those black leaders, like the Al Sharptons of the world, quote unquote, that we can't push the issues of police reform. You can't push the issues of defund the police, which really means creating ways to take police out of situations that they're not equipped to deal with by bringing mental health professions in, bringing in counselors, which will mean using some of that police money to bring those organizations in, which would actually take pressure off of the police departments to have to deal with stuff that they're ill-equipped. Remember the brother in, was it Ithaca, New York? And the mayor, it was a black mayor and a black police chief, and that mayor ended up getting herself in some trouble and had to step down. And I think the police chief stepped down. That was that black man that was out there naked. If it wasn't Ithaca, New York, if I got the wrong place in New York wrong, put it in the chat room so that we know what the right place is. But I think it was Ithaca, New York. If I'm not mistaken, the black man was out there naked in the streets. They put a bag over his face. I think he might have been under the influence of something, but they put a bag over his face. And he was trying to comply with them, even though he was on something, possibly. And they ended up, he ended up dying. And the whole thing was a mess. And she ended up getting herself caught up in something, and she got let go. And then I think the police chief might have resigned. This is another case in which you had black people in charge, and the man was mistreated. Well, let's talk about this sister right here in Chicago, Miss Young, how you got a black mayor in Lightfoot, and I know she's LBGQ, but she's a black woman, and you got a black police chief of Chicago, and black people are still being treated like this. Ask yourself, how can we have black people in these local government positions and this continues to happen? This is about a 7-minute and 34-minute video. I'm telling you right now to everybody in the chat room, it is going to make you emotional. It is going to make you angry, make you want to hit something. To the ladies in the chat room, if you have not seen this, you are going to feel an emotional charge. Those of you listening, if you had not seen it, it will. If it does not make you feel some kind of way, then you ain't human. That's what I say. And here we go. I gotta bring this in with another breaking news clip again.
Another bad raid by Chicago police that the city's legal team is trying to stop us from telling you. It involves an innocent woman getting handcuffed, naked, with a dozen male officers watching. Now, she wants you to see the body camera video, but tonight the city went to federal court to try to keep it secret. Here's CBS 2 investigator Dave Savini.
I had just gotten home from work, and while I was undressing in my bedroom,
it was a cold February night, and Ann Jeanette Young, a social worker, had just finished her shift at the hospital.
You see them running up to the apartment complex with the battering ram in their hand, a crowbar. It was so traumatic to hear the way the thing was hitting the door. And it happened so fast, I didn't have time to put on clothes.
And suddenly, she found herself frozen in fear. Completely naked. In a room full of men. 9 body cameras rolling. And you're just standing there.
And I'm just standing there. I mean, terrified, humiliated, not even understanding why in that moment that this is happening to me.
And the first thing police reach for is not clothing.
I'm not going to stop this too many times, but I had to say this because Real Aaron Collins said something that was real in the chat room, and that is the Chicago police tried to cover this whole thing up. They really did a horrible job. They bounced the whole thing. They tried to cover it up. They had the whole thing was poorly executed, should have never happened. And the mayor of Chicago, Lightfoot, see, everybody that looks like you, ladies and gentlemen, your skin folk ain't always your kinfolk. Just because a person is black, that's why I was saying we can't get caught up in people being put in positions, because just because they're black doesn't mean they're all for you. Because when this whole thing happened, she tried to deny it as a legitimate situation. This woman went to hell. This woman went to hell. And I'm going to play this in To my brother Old Head in the chat room, thank you, brother. You said the show that you like the show. I appreciate that, man. Tell other people about my program. And I gotta give some love to Miss Thompson, who just came in the house. Peace and love to you. To everybody that's in the house, Earl Owens, Sir Roll, Sonia Seaves, who's been rocking with me for a long time. And now we got Love, who says, oh my God, how disturbing. Yes, it is disturbing, and you're about to get some more. We need to see this, because while Joe Biden is telling these people that we can't push the issue of police reform, that we can't push, and I'm going to be honest with you, you really can't, you can't reform the police department, because the police departments in America have been infiltrated by white supremacist groups and racial hate groups. The FBI put this out in 2006 and said, it ain't me making this up, the FBI said that these police departments have been inundated with these types of things. In Los Angeles, where real Aaron Collin lives, and he can tell you the same thing, you have a sheriff's department. The LA Sheriff's Department has been inundated with hate groups. They're almost like a gang themselves. In Los Angeles Police Department, they've got a gang element in their department, and we wonder why black people are being treated like this. I was watching my man George Macomb 2 today talk about this and show this video, and it inspired me to add this as a part of my program this late night. Joe Biden telling these leaders that we shouldn't be pushing the envelope when it comes to the policing issue, yet black people on the main street, like this woman, 20 years she's been a social worker, they treated her like a common criminal, and she's lucky to be alive that they didn't do her the way they did Breonna Taylor. Back to the program.
It's handcuffs.
There were big guns and guns with lights and scopes on them, and they were yelling at me, you know, put your hands up, put your hands up.
What are you thinking right now?
I just remember, you know, being so afraid. It's one of those moments where I just felt like that I could have died that night. If I had made one wrong move, I felt like they would have shot me. I truly believe that they would have shot me.
A police officer wraps a short coat around her shoulder, still leaving her front fully exposed. Even the sergeant in charge of the raid just stands there talking to her while she has nothing covering her.
I live alone. No one lives here with me. You're telling me to relax something you guys are doing? My name is Antoinette. What is going on?
Then she gets a blanket.
They just threw something over me. And my hands are behind my back and I'm handcuffed. So there was no way for me to secure the blanket that they put around me.
But the blanket just keeps sliding open. More humiliation.
You didn't tell me what you're looking for. What are you looking for?
You can see how some officers just stand there until this one, wearing a mask, sees what's happening and goes and holds it in place.
It felt like forever for me. It felt like forever.
Listen how she repeatedly tells the raid team they were in the wrong place.
You have the wrong place! You got the wrong house! You got the wrong house!
We counted. She says it at least 43 times.
You got the wrong house!
And she was right. They were in the wrong house. Our investigation uncovered police failed to do the most basic research before getting the search warrant approved. We found they simply took the word of an informant who gave them Anjanette Young's address. The informant claimed a 23-year-old man who was a known felon had a gun and ammo inside.
I don't know who that person is. I've been living here for 4 years and nobody lives here but me.
Okay, you don't have to shout.
I don't have to shout. This is ridiculous. You got me in handcuffs. I'm naked. You kicked my house in. And I keep telling you, you got the wrong place.
Then, during the raid, something happens. Watch as two of the officers go to their squad car and begin reviewing their notes about the warrant. CPD would not comment on what you're about to hear the officers saying a few minutes later.
It wasn't initially approved or some crap. What does that mean? I have no idea, because, they told him it was approved, and then I guess that person messed up on their end.
Messed up is an understatement. So, where was the target? Our investigation revealed he was awaiting trial on home confinement here at a different apartment in Anjanette Young's complex. How easy would it have been to locate him? Easy. Real easy. Because he was wearing a police tracking device, an electronic monitoring bracelet. It's possible he could have even heard the raid happening, because records show he was confined to the unit right next door.
But I'm telling you it's wrong. I'm asking you to let me call somebody. I'm asking you to let me put some clothes on. I'll sit here and let you do whatever you need to do. But let me call somebody, let me call an attorney, because I'm telling you this is wrong. I have nothing to do with whoever this person is you're looking for.
We found if they would have done a little bit more research, they might have found where the target actually lived.
Yes.
I think Scrub was being too kind, because ultimately, this is a constitutional rights issue.
Keenan Salter is Anjanette Young's attorney and is suing the police department.
If this had been a young woman in Lincoln Park by herself in her home, naked, a young white woman, let's just be frank, if the reaction would have been the same. I don't think it would have been. I think they would have saw that woman, rightfully so, as someone who was vulnerable, someone who deserved protection, someone who deserved to have their dignity maintained. They viewed Ms. Young as less than human.
Can I please call somebody?
Yeah, man, relax. Just relax, all
right? How can I relax when this is going on?
They did eventually walk her to a room to remove the handcuffs so she could get dressed, but then put them right back on and kept questioning her.
There are no firearms in this place?
There's no gun in this place. I'm a social worker. I've been a social worker for 20 years. I follow the law. I don't get in trouble for anything. I don't do illegal stuff. I'm not that person. You got the wrong information.
At this point, the sergeant in charge of the raid tells the officer who got the warrant to step outside.
Let's go talk outside.
But you won't hear it, because once outside, the body camera is shut off. Back inside Anjanette's home, another officer finally uncuffs her. She had been bound for 20 minutes. Listen as the sergeant returns with a new message.
We believe your story.
And you can see him trying to fix the door they busted so she could close it and lock it. But it was too damaged to repair, so watch as they try to find something to wedge it shut. They settle on an ironing board.
Surreal?
Surreal. It's almost like a bad movie. When I watch this, I feel like I'm watching a movie. But those are no actors. I'm no actor. This is my real life. And it happened to me. They're adding trauma to people's lives that will be with them for the rest of their lives. The work is warranted. They need to do the work, but they need to do it right. They can't just callously do it and leave people.
Information is power.
Oops, thank you. Thank you for that. Back to the basics. You just came in and said you didn't hear any sound. I make a mistake like that all the time on my videos these days. God. Okay. So as I was saying, let me repeat what I was saying. Basically, the woman, Sister Young, all due respect to Sister Young, she said 43 times, what did I do? You got the wrong place. You got the wrong place. They were coming in the house, swarming around her, and she had no clothes on. This would have not happened to her had she been a white woman. I'm going to tell it just like it is because that's what her lawyer said. Had she been a white woman, they would have gave her more respect. They would have treated her with reverence and gave her more respect than what they gave her. Busing into the home like that, scaring that woman, and she's lucky to be alive. Then you saw them get into the car and realized that they were at the wrong place, and they tried to suppress that information. According to the news, Chicago police have been trying to suppress this whole thing. Then you notice when they went outside, they conveniently turned their cameras off, so you couldn't hear what they were saying. That's suspect. That black woman is lucky to be alive to this day. I know those of you in the chat room had a visceral experience with watching this, and if you did not show any emotion seeing what happened to her, then you ain't human. You can't be. This woman is not a thought. This woman is not some trash. This is a woman of 20 years as a social worker, giving back to the community of Chicago, as many black women and black men do that work in these communities across this country. Giving back to the community, and this is the way she gets treated. And then when she filed her complaints to Chicago police, along with Mayor Lightfoot, I call her Beetlejuice. She looks like Beetlejuice to me.
Tell the truth.
That's what I call her. I call her Beetlejuice.
Tell the truth.
So you got Beetlejuice as the mayor, who in the beginning, she tried to dismiss this whole situation. And it came back to bite her in the you-know-what. And let me play that video for you, because there's follow-up video to this. And why I'm bringing this up, you may say, well, why is this? How can this be relevant to what you're talking about tonight? It is relevant because Joe Biden was telling these black, so-called black leaders who's supposed to represent sisters like Miss Young and me and you. He's on the getting caught on audio telling them we can't get into that issue. We can't push this issue. We can't push that issue. And then you got you can't push the issue of police reform or police misconduct, or you can't push this. We can't give you what you want right now. We got to do this. We got to do that. And then you got Michael Eric Dyson has the audacity, the audacity to sit up here and say on CNN, which is world news. That's why people laugh at us and don't take us serious. He's got the nerve to say that Joe Biden paid his debt to black people. And we got black people on the streets like this being treated. And we got black people being treated like this, even when you got black people in leadership positions to make a difference and make a change. When Obama was in office for those 8 years, you had more black men being taken out of this world by police brutality, being shot more than a little bit. And we were still being mistreated, and nothing changed even under Obama. Let me bring up something that pissed me off. Remember when Gates, Dr. Gates, who does those programs on KQED, paid television, where he does that, your ancestors, and he does the DNA, Professor Gates. I think he teaches at, Harvard University. Remember, he came home one night and he couldn't get it, and somehow he locked himself out of his home. And then you had the police that came upon him, and they mistreated him, treated him like an animal. And he said, this is my home. I live here. I teach at the university, Harvard. They didn't care about where he taught. He was just another black man to them. They didn't care about his education. They didn't know he was more educated than they were. And look, remember what happened? Obama called the police out, and then he took it all back when the police jumped on him. And then he had that beer summit. And I'm saying to myself, and I look back at it, why would you sit down and have a beer with any man that would treat you like trash, treat you like you're irrelevant, treat you in a racial manner, and have a beer with this man? And Obama capitulated to that crap, along with Professor Gates. I've got no respect for that. I wouldn't sit down with anybody who treated me like that, and let alone have a beer with them. I wouldn't have root beer with you. I wouldn't have milk with you. I wouldn't have water, salsa water. I wouldn't have crackers with you. I wouldn't have French fries and hamburgers with you. I wouldn't have any breaking of any bread or drink or beverage or libation with anyone who treated me like this. And that was a disrespect, another disrespect to black folks. And that was under a black man's watch as president of this country. Then we got black folks in charge of Chicago, the mayor and the police chief, and this happens to this sister. When I lived in Oakland, same thing was happening in Oakland. We had black mayors in Oakland. We had black supervisors of the board. We had black this and black that. And you still had a group of road cops in Oakland called the Riders that were going around Oakland, California, harassing black people, particularly focusing on black men who had just got out of prison, who were trying to change their life around, in some cases planting drugs on them, in some cases using them as CIs, meaning you're going to be a spy for us or we're going to put some charges on you. And the black community for years had complained to the mayors and to the police department, and the police department did have a black police chief, and nobody listened. And then some years after that, it all came out in the wash that there was a renegade group of police in Oakland, California that were going around harassing black people in West Oakland and East Oakland and all over Oakland. This is facts. This is truth. I don't know. Truth. Nobody can tell me different. See, I don't just live on. I don't live on YouTube. I live in real life too. I've seen some things happen. This is a shame. We got real things happening, and I thank you for the super chat, Sister Thompson. I'm going to give you all the respect that's due you that comes with the super chat. And somebody else super chatted me. I apologize if I didn't go through this with you with the super chat, but let me get into the super chat music, and let's get it going right now. The pace.
Time to run it off. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it off. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it off. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it off. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it off. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turned to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ and Tom Brady. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it off. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it off. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it off. No sleep, no
Alrighty, super chat. Okay, Sister Thompson, thank you for the super chat. And anybody who super chatted me and I didn't get a chance to acknowledge your super chat, I want to say thank you for your super chat. I appreciate it. And let me tell you something. When people super chat me, I'm going to acknowledge you. I know that some of you have been on channels where people give money and the host never says one word to you. I find that to be disrespectful, rude, and personally, if people are not going to acknowledge you, I don't care how big their channel is, you're giving your hard-earned money. If they're not going to acknowledge you, then I wouldn't give any money to them. So anybody that I did not acknowledge, I want to say thank you for the super chats that maybe I missed because I was in the middle of my presentation and getting very passionate. But believe me, it's appreciated. What it does is it allows me the option of taking that money and putting it back into the show to provide you a presentation that I am providing you tonight. I hope you all are enjoying yourself. I hope you're having a drink, having your wine, having your tea, your coffee, your popcorn tonight. I hope you're having a late night snack since you're up with me tonight. And I appreciate that, which means one thing. It means that you all like what I'm doing. What I'm doing is resonating, and I'm only going to keep improving the program and what I'm doing here. Sky's only the limit. There is no limit to what we need to be doing over here, and I appreciate that. I want to say once again, peace to Back to the Basics. She sent me a message on Google. Remember Google Hangout? How many of y'all was around doing Google Hangout when we used to do all this stuff on Google Hangout? And you could tell compared to what we're doing now, especially what I'm doing now, that Google Hangout was real. when I look at some of my old videos, I'm kind of embarrassed by how poor quality it looked when we were using Google Hangout. But we thought Google Hangout was the bomb when we had Google Hangout. Y'all know that. But now we're seeing that we can keep improving. But Back to the Basics was the one that sent me a message saying, hey, Info, your volume is down. And I keep having this habit of pushing my off button on my mix board and forgetting to go back to it to click it. So I'm just going to keep it on always from now on. I'm just concerned about other sound getting into the video, but it's I got a dynamic mic right here. Excellent mic. I got another mic over here, and I got another mic that I'm going to get, the Shaw 57 mic. That's going to be a fantastic mic once I get that. That'll be used primarily on my second channel, The Information Man Speaks podcast. If any of the mods in the chat room can do me a favor and drop the link for my second channel, which is Information Man Speaks podcast. Now, the Information Man Speaks podcast is my podcasting platform. I put different content on that channel. Now, I'm on Spotify, I'm on Anchor, I'm on SoundCloud, I'm on Stitcher, I'm on TuneIn, fmradio.com. I'm on everything that has to do with podcasting. All you got to do is put the name in, Information Man Speaks podcast, and I'll come up. When you listen to me on any of those platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio podcast, I'm going to say this again. I know y'all get tired of me saying this. You're going to get different material when you listen to me on there. If you go to my channel page, you're going to see Google and Spotify. You can click into that and listen to my content over there. It's different from this channel, Information Man Show channel, and even different from my YouTube version of my podcast. I decided to put different material on the YouTube version. So when you go to my YouTube channel and you hear me talking about something, don't think that, oh, okay, I already heard what he said. No, click into those other platforms and you're going to see other content on those other platforms. I'm going to be dropping content on those other platforms tomorrow because I'm going to go live on Periscope to talk about some other things around this virus and related to black people. Having a change of mind to take this vaccine in the country in general. There's some data going on out there that I want you all to take a look at. And can everybody hear me in the chat room? If you can hear me, put a 1. I want to make sure you can hear me. I'm paranoid now. I'm thinking that you guys can't hear me. I'm looking at my mix board and I'm saying, well, I got it turned on. Shouldn't be off. So let me know if you can hear me in the chat room by just simply, okay, you can hear me. I'm just paranoid right now. So you're going to get different material. And because I didn't go live on Periscope tonight, because I can, with this system I'm using, just like Yard Streams, I can go to 3 different places if I want to, or even more. But tomorrow I'm going to be on Periscope, just broadcasting into Periscope because I have an audience over in Periscope as well. I'll be broadcasting into Periscope tomorrow, doing my podcast, and then uploading that podcast to the different platforms. And then I'm going to put some different content on the YouTube version too. So I'm giving you different content on different platforms. I appreciate everybody out there that's been rocking with me as long as you have. Now, I'm going to shut my mouth and go into the next media clip here or video. And this, if I can find it, this is the follow-up video to what happened to that sister. And I want you to see the BS of Laura Lightfoot. And then you had the black police chief. He's caught up in this whole thing because his police department is rooted with corruption. Chicago has had for a long time, for those of you that are from Chicago, I think real Aaron Collins can agree to this because he's from Chicago. They have corrupt politicians. They have corrupt police department. And remember, Mayor Ron Emanuel, he held all that information for 400 and something months about what happened to Quan Madano, who got shot in the streets like he was an animal. Remember that? Quan Madano, if I'm not saying his name right, I'm sorry. Y'all know who I'm talking about, the brother that was walking and the police shot him. And it came out in the wash that the mayor's office, they sit on this information for months, for days and months, because Ron Emanuel didn't want it to affect his election, his re-election as mayor. And I think, I tell you, he was trying to get re-elected. Go ahead and check this out, folks. Here we go.
Yeah, Brad, and the mayor now saying today that she will release those emails in the near future. The tone of her comments today, very different than just a day ago. Gone was any defensiveness. Instead, the mayor acknowledging mistakes, not just by her, but by other city departments. Mayor Lori Lightfoot did some soul-searching and fact-finding over the past 24 hours about the wrongful raid on Anjanette Young's home.
I've now come to learn that in November of 19, this Ms. Young's case and others were lifted up to my attention.
The mayor says she didn't remember Young's case specifically, but noted the extensive CBS 2 investigators' coverage of wrongfully executed search warrants was a subject of great concern to her. It was one of several let's set the record straight moments today. Another concerned Young's public records denial by the city of her request for the body cam video. Lightfoot initially refuted our reporting of the city's denial.
We reported, and it is very clear, that Ms. Young filed a FOIA for this video last year and was denied.
So my understanding is something different.
Today,
I learned yesterday after I spoke that, in fact, Ms. Young did file a FOIA request.
Ms. Young filed a request, a complaint. It got marginalized. They underestimated her. And even left foot. See, you can't assume just because a person looks like you, is black or what have you. I don't care. It doesn't matter her sexuality. That doesn't matter here. I'm not attacking her sexuality. I'm attacking the fact that we can't assume because a person is black that they've got our best interests. Therefore, we cannot get all excited over Joe Biden like Michael Eric Dyson, who's being premature when these people have not been officially placed in those positions. We can't get all buck danced about these appointments because we don't know if many of these people are in the best interest of our collective good. I'm going to say it again, our collective good. Mayor Lightfoot, when she got elected in Chicago, they said it was hallelujah time that she was going to be transformational. And since she's been mayor, there's been no transformation. There's been nothing to get giddy about with this woman. She denied this woman her right to due process. And then she turns around and says, oh, after looking at, this is the thing, the sister, I'm going to say what I got to say after I play this. Let me go back and play it. I know y'all want to hear.
So I stand corrected on that.
Young's FOIA denial is now prompting one of several changes the mayor and Chicago police superintendent are making regarding search warrants and related cases, in large part because of our reporting.
We will change our policies and procedures to make sure that a victim who reaches out shouldn't have to file a FOIA request, should just get the information that they seek.
We made a mistake.
And Superintendent David Brown says going forward, no-knock search warrants like the one in Young's case will only be approved in matters of life and death.
And only
a high-level bureau chief can approve that no-knock warrant.
Make a mayoral mea culpa.
It's been painful, and upsetting.
With a promise now to make sure this doesn't happen again.
There's a lot of trust that's been breached, and I know that there's a lot of trust in me that's been breached, and that I have a responsibility to build back that trust.
This afternoon, Mayor Lori Lightfoot says she reached out to Anjanette Young to try and meet with her in person. Ms. Young telling us she'd like to meet with the mayor at her church. No date or time has been set yet. But one thing we still don't know, what's not exactly clear, and that is how many wrongfully executed search warrants have occurred in Chicago since policy changes, the initial changes, went into effect in January. We know of 2 of them. This afternoon, Superintendent David Brown saying that is being reviewed, but going forward, those types of cases will be tracked. Live outside Chicago City Hall, Dana Kozlov.
Information is power. Truth.
Take it away, feeling too good to me. Chilling all day, all in your space is where I wanna be. Here in this room, what did you do? I just can't get enough. Too caught up in your love. I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain wants you. I've been hanging by myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you. Yeah, you always make me feel like, oh yeah, you never leave my thoughts alone. Yeah, you're the reason I'm going out my mind. I just can't stop thinking about you.
Let me say something here, and I'm going to piggyback off my main man, George Makeham, too. Make sure y'all check out his channel. He also has another channel called the Urban Nerds World, where he has an outstanding brother on there that's like a brother. I think the brother's a scientist or a biologist. The brother breaks down a lot of important information. I go over there and learn a lot. And I am going to be doing a show about black male organizations, and his organization will be one of the ones featured. And I can't wait to I still need to get my Urban Nerds hoodie shirt. Urban Nerds is brother George Makeham too in Philadelphia. He's out there on the streets showing you what he's doing, working with youth, mentoring the whole 9 yard. And they're doing fantastic. He's doing fantastic work. They're a nonprofit. They're doing fantastic work. And I'm going to support them by purchasing a Urban Nerds shirt. Let me show you what that looks like, a little logo. If I've got the logo here from the Urban Nerds, here we go, right here, folks, on the corner side where Joe Biden's big old head is at. Here it comes, Urban Nerds. There you go, bam. So I'm going to be purchasing. That's the channel is Urban Nerds Worldwide. You can find the channel, and the co-founder of this organization, along with George Makeham too. They're doing great things. They're working with youth. They're getting youth out in the community. They're promoting the idea of science, math, learning, education, empowerment. And George Makeham is doing great things. Just like my main brother out there. I was on his channel a week ago. I got a lot of love and respect for him. I'm going to have to bring Q Butter to the channel and do an interview with brother Q Butter. Q Butter knows who I am. We both have a lot of respect for each other. Q Butter's doing real work. All right, and it didn't take Q Butter 1,000 years to open up a school. He's doing real work, tangible work, and he's getting the job done. Same thing with brother George Makeham. I had to do a plug for him and the Urban Nerds and what they got going on over there. And so with that said, let me put the big old head up there again. This is what George Makeham said. This woman is a victim not once but 2 times. Put a 1 in the chat room if you agree with what I'm about to say. She was a victim 2 times. I'll tell you how. She was a victim when the police broke in the house, mistreated her, had her butt naked, all swarming around her, asking her demanding questions. She told them 43 times that she was not the house, she was not the person. They have the wrong place. They didn't listen to her. And even when they found out that they screwed up, they still, I felt, still continued to disrespect this woman. You know how? They busted her door down and then put some crap to hold the door shut. The police department of Chicago needs to pay for a new door. I hope that she was able to make them pay for a new door, but who knows when Larry, Mary, or Left Foot, or Beetlejuice didn't even take her case serious, and then you see her on there crying and getting emotional because she caught, as Bismarck Key used to say back in the day, she caught the vapors when she realized that, oops, I screwed up, we screwed up. And then you got the black police chief, who is the newest police chief because the other one got fired because he got caught up in that scandal when you had, what's that cat, that guy off of the, what's that TV show, the dude that was claiming that he was going to get a Subway sandwich and that he had got attacked or what have you. That whole situation caused a lot of ruckus, a lot of problems in Chicago. And that police chief, he got eventually, he got caught up in that situation, right, where they were going after him. Who's the guy? What's the show? I don't even watch cable TV anymore, so I forgot a lot of these shows. Let me see. What's up, brother? Lightfoot is only crying. Right on. That's the wacky world there. Peace to you, brother. Let me give you some acknowledgement in there. Let's see what I'm saying. Let me see. We got brother DOD in the house. Sonny C's, The Real, Aaron Collins, Tiffany Jackson. DOD agrees with me. Old Deuce is in the house. Old Deuce, it's good to see you here. DOD, Earl Owens in the wacky world of old TV comes in the house and says, what's up, brother? Laura Lightfoot is only crying crocodile tears. You got that right.
Tell the truth.
Crocodile tears because she got caught. Well, anyway, there was a police chief before in Chicago who got himself caught up in some scandal, and he got let go. And now you got this new brother who's the police chief, and he said it. He said, we messed up, right? But this is what he's not saying. And of course, they're not going to say this at a press conference. He's not saying how he's going to make Sister Young whole. Now, you heard Sister Young. They say that Sister Young wants to meet with Laura Lightfoot at her church. You know what this is going to be about? And this is one of our downfall. This is one of our weaknesses as black folks. Let me say this. Black people are intensely spiritual. So I bet you any kind of money. This shows you how black people are. I guarantee you Laura Lightfoot is going to make sure she has cameras there and the press. She's going to hug Sister Young. She's going to cry with her. She's going to have a box of Kleenex. Sister Young's going to become emotional, and she's going to cry, and she's going to say she's sorry to Sister Young, and they're going to have a moment of forgiveness, and they're going to have a moment of prayer, because the Sister Young is like many black women, like many black people in the community. She's a Christian woman. So I'm pretty sure she's going to have a moment of prayer with Lightfoot, and Lightfoot going to put her head down and bow down and say, oh, Lord, may we forgive ourselves for our transgressions. Please, oh, Lord, please can you bless Laura Lightfoot that she can see the error of her ways, that she can see through. Oh, Lord, we need healing in our community of Chicago. We need healing. I guarantee you, and I'll be surprised if it's otherwise, that Sister Young is going to get real spiritual about it, and Laura Lightfoot going to get real spiritual too, and she going to start acting like she done came back home to the church, and she going to ask for that forgiveness. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if the police chief, he shows up and gets on his knee and bows his head down in prayer after what they did to this woman. The least they could probably do, but you know this is all going to be show and tell. Show and tell, ladies and gentlemen.
Tell the truth.
Okay. Let me go back up in here and see what people are saying before I come to a conclusion tonight. Y'all been rocking with me strong. Man, the crowd's been out tonight. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. We got Tiffany Jackson says she's done. The wacky world of old TV says our people are easily forgiving. Yeah, and it's been to our detriment. And I hate to have to say that, but it has been our ability to forgive people shows that we have let me tell you this, our ability to forgive people shows one thing. One, we have a functioning pineal gland. We have a functioning pineal gland that gives you the ability of sympathy and empathy. Not everybody, and you know what I'm saying, not everybody has a functioning pineal gland in their brain in this world. And that's one of the reasons why they will begin to act like animals. And you know what I'm talking about and who I'm talking about. You know, on YouTube, you got to talk in code these days. You got to talk like you got to talk like a Negrodamus. I'm a Negrodamus. I can predict what's going to happen in the future, right? You got to talk like that in these YouTube streets these days, because YouTube becoming so corporate as it's become, and they're pushing all the attention, as I said the other night when I was angry, they're pushing all the attention towards the celebrity channels and the channels where you don't learn anything, but you learn, well, you do learn something. You learn many different ways that people can use the N-word and people can scream at each other and yell and beef with each other. Oh, you learn that 24/7. And they will push the algorithms towards those type of channels. And channels like myself, you suffer. And this is the same thing that Brother George Macon was saying, that when you have this type of channel, it's lonely. It's a lonely road for you, because you're only going to get so many of your people who are going to rock with you. And this is another thing. On YouTube, people like to throw around this whole thing about pro-black. Oh, you're being pro-black. First of all, not every black person is pro-black. Just like I said, just because somebody got black skin don't necessarily mean they're for you. Not everybody's pro-black. And for everybody out there in YouTube, in black YouTube, I'm gonna tell you straight up, you can make fun of the pro-black, but it is the pro-black that went out there and fought and busted their butts to make it possible for you to be able to run your mouth on YouTube and talk like you do. It had a freedom of, it was pro-blacks that put their lives on the line for you to be able to talk your talk, speak your speech. It was pro-blacks. So you say what you want to say, Will, about pro-blacks, but they made a lot of things possible because of their activism. Never minimize the power of activism and the power of those who were active in trying to change some things in this society. And we got a long way to go. A lot of things are still haven't changed. But when you see black people being treated like this, and you hear Joe Biden talking about, y'all need to not tell me this and tell me that. And when you hear Joe Biden saying, I'm the only person, black or white. Wait, let me do one more thing. This is what I'm going to do. I have to do this again. And I'm only going to go to the part where Joe Biden specifically said that part, because I want to run this home with you all tonight. And let me play this, just this part right here, where Joe Biden gets to running off at his mouth. Let's hear this one more time. Just a little. I'm only going to play it to when Joe Biden starts talking about he's the only one, this and that. Listen to this again.
Participation, and soon-to-be former Congress.
Let me move it up a little bit more. Here we go.
But I have more of a record of getting things done in the United States Congress than anybody you know. Anybody you know.
Some Biden cringe.
By 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. Hear me? Minority white European.
Joe Biden said, you hear me? You hear me, with his pimp hand. Right? But let me move it back a little bit. I want to hear the part where he says, I'm the only one, black or white. That's a big disrespect to black folks in the civil rights movement who were the ones talking about these issues. Joe Biden is a fool. He was running around with Strong Thurmond By the way, Strong Thurmond was the original Dixiecrat. And remember, Strong Thurmond, he liked Black Butane too. He had an illegitimate child that he never told anybody about that was black. That's Strong Thurmond. He's the original Dixiecrat. Let's hear this little part again.
Included a few Biden-esque boasts.
I'm the first person, black or white, who called attention to the fact that you were finding that there was the rate of people who were African Americans who are dying was 3 times that of white people.
Boom. What a lie. I mean, just like the movie Enter the Dragon when Jim Kelly said, man, you come right out of a comic book. Joe Biden comes out of a comic book. I mean, he really comes out of a comic book, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the comic right there. You got Al Sharpton. That's kind of funny, actually. I got to laugh at that one more time. All right. So Joe Biden comes right out of a comic book from a 70s Bruce Lee movie that I loved growing up as a child when he's talking about listen to his arrogance. I'm the only one, black or white, who has brought attention to the issues like that. You got to be out your mind. Let's hear that again for extra effect again. Joe Biden is something else, I tell you.
Soon to be former Congressman Cedric Richmond, who Biden has named an assistant to the president. In many ways, it was a Zoom.
Let's bring this back right there. Come on, let's get to it.
Or white, who called attention to the fact that...
Let me, about right there. Here we go.
It also included a few Biden-esque boasts.
I'm the first person, black or white, who called attention to the fact that you were finding that there was the rate of people who were African Americans who are dying was 3 times that of white people.
He's a you-know-what lie. Black people have been beating the pavement for decades and years about black people being killed and being mistreated by the police forces of this country. What is he talking about? It was the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, founded in Oakland, California. That's why do you think there was certain what they would call black revolutionary groups that came about because of how black people were being treated in the streets by these cops? What are you talking about that he's the first black or white? Let's hear that again. Let's hear the pimp hand. I mean, Joe Biden was talking like a pimp here, and then none of these leaders that were there, these black leaders, the NAACP, Derek Johnson, all these type of people that were there, they never stopped him in his tracks when he said that and rebutted that from him. I mean, come on, people. Listen to this again.
Zoom call like any other.
Can't hear you, Cedric. You're on mute.
It also included a few Biden-esque boasts.
I'm the first person, black or white, who called attention to the fact that you were finding that there was the rate of people who were African Americans who are dying was 3 times that of white people. I don't carry around a stamp on my head saying progressive and I'm AOC, but I have more of a record of getting things done in the United States Congress than anybody you know. Anybody you know.
Some Biden cringe.
By 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. Hear me? Minority white European.
Oh my God.
I've been feeling emotional. Thinking about you. Thinking about you, babe. What can we focus on? What we should do?
Can't believe these
Tell me the truth. Cause I don't wanna see you with somebody else. And I've been feeling lonely in this king-size bed. I'm trying not to worry about the things you say. I ain't got the time, you're always on my mind. Baby, why you playing with my love? I'm trying to be patient with you now. I'll never be sober if you don't pull me closer. Look me in my eyes and tell me how. I'm hypnotized. I'm hypnotized. I've been feeling
body so beautiful. All I want is your love.
That's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. The black family. The black family is affected by the lack of leadership within our own people and the lack of leadership that you have in Washington, D.C. As you know right now, people are going to be catching hell when the benefits run out. As I said earlier in the show tonight, they only could come up with a measly $9 billion when it should be $10 billion, $20 billion. Give people a lot of money because you know darn well that people are going to spend that money and it will stimulate the economy. But instead, they want to nickel and dime you with your own tax dollars because that's where it's coming from. And Biden wants to tell black leadership what he is going to do and what he ain't going to do. And I don't know how anybody listening to my stream tonight can sit up here and say that I didn't bring up anything that had facts to it, that had reality to it. But then again, you know, there's a saying about common sense. Common sense is not always common. Some of our people are asleep out here. And anybody that's listening to this will probably say something silly like this. Infoman is a Donald Trump fan. I don't know how many times I got to keep saying this. I did not like Donald Trump. Some of you that are in the chat room listening to me, you know, you heard me go in on Donald Trump. You've heard me say many risque things about Donald Trump. You've heard me talk about him like a dog. I've done videos about him like a dog. I've made reference to Donald Trump like a dog. I've done videos on Donald Trump that's on my channel in my archives where I got into Donald Trump. So I've never been a fan of Donald Trump, and I'm not a fan of the Republican Party or the Democratic Party because both of these parties are the same ego wing. You got left wing and you got right wing. Both of them screw you, one with Vaseline, one without Vaseline. So it does not matter. What black people need is not a political party. We need a black agenda. We need a black agenda that we can center around, that we can focus on, and that for any one of these political parties that come to us, whether it be Green Party, Purple Party, Republican Party, Democratic Party, all kind of parties, when they come to us, we should all be on one page and say, we want a black agenda. If you don't have a black agenda for us, we ain't voting for you. Get the hell out of here. Don't come to our churches. Don't bother with us. Give us a black agenda. We don't just need you giving us symbolisms in positions. We need Main Street solutions. If you don't have that, get out of my face. Simple as that. Simple as that. That's having a black agenda, not focusing on these, getting all caught up in these political parties where you have black people who look just like you and me, and they sell you out because they're worried about their position over your situation, which is dire stray in some cases. Let me go into the chat room and see who's in the house, and so I can say peace to people as I get ready to conclude tonight. We got Earl Owens, who says, cut the check. Everybody, let me get this. What I think I missed a point that I wanted to make. The sister is going to be victimized. She was victimized by the police, and the sister will be victimized again because she has to go to the same power structure, the same white supremacist power structure to ask for justice. You see it? You see how that works? That's what George was saying. She was violated by the same white supremacist system, and she has to go back to that system and ask for justice. So she's been victimized not once, but twice. Again, she will be victimized. So those of you in the chat room that were looking at that video, how did it make you feel? Before I end the night, I want to get some real data in the chat room. How did it make you feel to see how they treated that woman of 20 years experience as a social worker? Not a thug, not a hoodlum, not a menace to society, not someone who doesn't pay her taxes. I'm sure the woman is law-abiding, as she said that she was to them on that video. She said, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I want to know how you all feel about that. Let me know. Okay, so DOD said pissed off. Earl Owens said mad at these devils. We got sister, I got to get your name right. We got sister, some chick, name, star. Oh, there we go. I'm sorry about that. Now I got it. I got to give you some acknowledgement. Some chick named Star says it made her infuriated. It bothered you. Yes, there's 3 times a victim when she goes to. Oh, that's right. That's right. She will be 3 times a victim when she goes to church. Yeah, because there's going to be a photo op. Now they might do a photo op, right? Because they want to make it look from the optics that the police department is so sorry about what happened to Miss Young, even though when she filed her first complaint, they tried to ignore it. And I'm gonna tell you right now, this is what I want to hear that you didn't hear from the police chief. All the police that were involved in the false information need to be reprimanded. That's what I want to know. What are you doing about those police officers? And if I was her, she should take out a civil lawsuit against that police department for every dime, nickel, gold teeth that falls out of their mouth, everything. I hope that she gets so much money out of that police department that they don't have enough money to keep their uniforms clean. That they don't have enough money to wear to make uniforms. I'm serious about that. I'm serious as a heart attack when I say that, folks. Okay, let me read more. Let me read more what people are saying here. Tiffany Jackson's got the fire. She's mad. Real Aaron Collins said, I didn't know if you saw it, Info Man, but that video made me want to fight. That's right, brother. Mr. Lawrence has come through. Peace to you, brother, for being here. Mr. Lawrence says, it pissed me off seeing that because I thought about our sister, Breonna Taylor. Right. And she said that she was afraid that she wasn't going to be living anymore. They could have easily took her life just the way they took Breonna Taylor's life. That could have easily took place with all those weapons that they had. We got my sister Patience in the house. Great to see you. Some chick named Star is back. Sonia Seeves, who's been rocking with me for a long time. She says, there seems to be tendencies to let stories fade away. We got to keep the information, the home fire burning. Yes, and that's why I decided to add this to the show. I was going to do a separate video on this, but I said that this video actually was perfect because it added to what I was talking about. While you got black leadership letting Biden talk to them like that, and just leadership in this country in general, we got black people being treated like this on Main Street. While you got Michael Dyson talking about, oh, he's paid a debt to black people. What debt? There is no debt paid when you got black people being treated like this in the streets of Chicago. And what happened to her is happening all around the world. Let's not forget the brother Casey Goodson. If you don't know about that, go to my second channel and look at my video on it. The brother went to the dentist. He was going home. The police were looking for some other for a real criminal, and the police followed him, claiming that he waved a gun at them. Come to find out, the brother had a bag full of Subway sandwiches. Got shot in the back while he was trying to go in the house, and he had his family around him when he got shot. If you got your back turned, how could you be a danger to anybody if you're walking away from them? This is what's happening in this country, folks. This is what's real in this country. While they're telling me and you, like Biden, y'all need to calm down. Let's not push the issue of police reform. Let's not push the issue of defund the police. Let's not push the issue of being progressive here. Let's not push the issue of me putting out executive orders. No. Let's not push that issue. Y'all need to worry about the Latinos and work with them because they're the group in 2040 that's going to surpass you. Or even though I already talked to y'all about that when I said in the year 2065, black people may possibly be a permanent minority because of other groups coming over here and growing in their numbers, and they're not over here to be friends with us. They're coming here to compete and get jobs and do for their own community. And guess what? I'm not hating on other groups. They should do for their own community, no matter what race you are. We got another super chat from D Rock D. Let me see. D Rock is coming to the house. Let me see. D Rock Den has just super chatted me. I appreciate that.
Thank you for the super
Before
chat.
I end the show, I got to give you the ceremony music, and everybody knows I got to do that. Let's get right into it and give you the respect that you deserved. Thank you for the super chat. Yes.
Tell them run it off. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turned to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice, and they pay me. I need
Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Thank you for the super chat.
All right. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you coming through. If you are new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe, hit the bell of notification. Everybody, before I end tonight, I'm asking everybody in the chat room to make sure you put this video in your community tab, your Twitter, your Facebook, wherever you have social media. Please put it in there, because what it does is that it helps the channel to grow. It allows other people to know who I am and for them to come over so that we can really continue to build this community, because we are a community over here, and it's a community that I appreciate. Now, let me say this too. I'm thinking about doing membership, and membership would require me to do extra content and to really really crank the content up. I'm thinking about it. I have to really give it some thought, because all of you already know I'm not a YouTuber that's on YouTube 7 days a week for hours. Most of my YouTubing happens either on a Friday night, a Saturday, a Sunday, sometimes a Monday, maybe a Tuesday every blue moon. But for the most part, most of my YouTubing consists of weekends or going into the weekend, because I'm one of those guys on YouTube who actually has a career, okay, a profession where I actually go out and work and get my hands dirty in the whole 9 yards, okay? And then I utilize this platform to get information out, to speak to my people. You are my people, in the community that we have built here. So definitely share the video. For those of you that are new to the channel, again, someone can drop the link. I need you all who have not subscribed to the second channel, the Information Man Speaks podcast. Matter of fact, let me put the link in here too myself, because I always put it. Let me see. Hopefully it will work, because sometimes when you put it in here and it comes off your, hopefully that'll work there. And let me click this and make sure that it will open up to that other channel. This is very important. And no, it will not. I can't do, let me take that out of there. Let me erase that out of there. What I need someone to do is either stroll down my page of my channel, and you will see the icon of my podcasting channel. Subscribe to it. If someone can get the link and put it in there for me, because the link that I put in there, I remember I took that off my page. It's not working right. That link doesn't work when I put it in there like that. But if you click into it on my page or the description of this video, it will take you to the channel. And let me see, something right here just turned off. I've got another computer right here. My power is off on this one. I got to juice this up. And let me see what we got. Let me see what we got going on over here. We got some good people in the chat room. Miss Thompson and Miss Jackson and just Mr. Lawrence, just some really good folks that's in here rocking with us tonight, and I appreciate that. Let me get on out of here. I've held everyone up this late night into Saturday way too long. I appreciate you all coming over. Be on the lookout for more content. I'm probably going to go live again, if not on this channel, maybe on my second channel. And I think this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put the link into the second channel right now. Hang on for a minute, folks. Just hang on with me before I put it into the night. And let me do something right here. And let me see this right here. Okay, here we go. And there it is right here. And then let me click this here. I'm gonna put it in the chat room. I gotta turn my other computer on. I realized that my power ran out. Oh, okay, it's got me back up here now. My power had ran out because I had to put my plug into my other computer, and it's now coming back on. But here comes the channel right here. I need everybody to subscribe to that channel, please. I'm building that channel the old-fashioned. I'm building that channel the old-fashioned way. Most of the material on this channel is all pre-produced videos. I will go live on there every blue moon. I probably will go live on there sometime soon. I'll be on Instagram. I'll be on Periscope in the morning, broadcasting in the morning directly to Periscope crowd. So if you're following me on Twitter, and my Twitter is @Clinton06, @Clinton06. My Instagram is Information Man Show. Very simple, Information Man Show. If you're on any of those platforms or Twitter, you can catch me live over in Periscope. I'm going to be broadcasting live on Periscope and Spreaker. And let me put this on the screen right here. So I'll be on Spreaker live. That's one of the podcasting platforms that I use that distributes my podcast to many different other podcasting sites. So I'll be going live on Spreaker tomorrow, live radio style, and on podcast on the Periscope. So if you want to listen to me radio style on Spreaker, all you got to do is go to Spreaker, or you can find me on my Twitter page, because I'll put a Spreaker link on there, and you can listen to me radio style on Spreaker. Just look for Information Man Speaks podcast. I'll come up right away, and you can Google me and you'll see me all over everything. And then I'll be on Periscope live. I'll be doing that in the morning time, broadcasting radio style. I'm going to be talking about a lot of different issues on there, radio style. That's tomorrow. That won't be on YouTube. It'll be on Periscope and Spreaker live if you want to check me out over there. So everybody, I appreciate everybody being here tonight, rocking with the channel as you all have. And we're going to keep this thing going. We're going to keep the family growing. We got a lot of people coming in the house. Make sure you give them love. Thank you for following me over there. We got Mr. Lawrence, who says all of the family in the chat. Yeah, everybody in there. Look, everybody that's in the chat room, you're all family. I'm rocking with you. Now, I want to say what's up to DOD, because I've been hanging out over on Quick Clickbait. There's a brother by the name of Benjamin Dixon. You probably heard of him. He's on Young Turks. He's sort of what we call a progressive Democrat. He's a progressive. And he doesn't agree with some of the things that Biden is doing. He's what you call a real left progressive. And I've been following him. He has a podcast too. But every morning, he has a group of brothers on the show. It's called Clickbait, and they're doing a great thing. And I see they're doing a great thing on their program. A lot of followers, big channel. And I see DOD over there all the time. I go over there, try to make my presence known on that platform, putting out some knowledge, listen to their knowledge, and it's a great show. And it's fantastic. I wish I really wish I could go on every day like that. I know if I was to go on every day, my channel would probably grow bigger, faster if I went live every day, but I just can't. I don't have the kind of schedule that I can do that, but I do the best I can, and I appreciate you all out there. So do me the biggest favor again. I'm saying this over and over again because it's very necessary. Please share the video on all your social media. Tell people about my channel. Like those of you that are content creators out there, right? I'll do the same thing for you. Subscribe to all of each other. Write each other's names down and subscribe to all of each other's channels. Those of you who have channels, who have people that follow you, let them know about me and encourage them to come on over and check out what I'm doing and see if they like it. And if they like it, then they subscribe. And the same thing, when you come over here, I'm going to tell people to go subscribe to your channel. When you come over here, you should be writing people's names down and going into the YouTube search engine and finding these great people and subscribing to their channel. That's the only way that you're going to grow. Because the reality is that we're all sharing the same, I'm sharing the same audience that other people have. All of you in this chat room, you follow various channels. So we're all sharing this family from one channel to the other, right? So you get a different style with me, you get a different style with another brother or another sister, but you get a style because all black people, we're all different. We all have different styles and we all put it down in different ways, right? But you're getting a style from me, and I'm trying to improve what I'm doing here. So everybody out there, I thank you for being here tonight and giving some statements. Be one to you all. Peace to you, to all the sisters in the chat room, to all the brothers. Stay strong. Stay on top of your game. And brothers, if we want to change the community, the only way we change the community is that we have to have standards as black men. If we force the standards of what we're not going to accept, our women will follow our lead. When we set the barometer of our community, we have to set the barometer of what's acceptable and not acceptable. But the only way that women are going to follow our lead is that we must set the example by our actions if we want change in what we don't like. And change can also resonate in building a community through the youth. And as I always do before I leave, I always talk about black fathers and how important black fathers are in the life of our children. Black fathers who spend time with their kids, who are devoted to their children. A lot of time the narrative about black men is a negative narrative in which they want to call us criminals. They want to say that black men don't take care of their children. They're not in the lives of their children, that all black men are musty, crusty, and dusty. And I'm telling you right now, I'm changing the narrative. That is not true. I'm a father. Black men are there. There are certainly black men that are not doing what they're supposed to do, but those black men that are not doing what they're supposed to do not represent the majority of black men who spend time with their children, raising their sons and their daughters, leading by example, being strong, powerful, and being an example in the community. And they're going to tell you that black men don't work and go out there and bust their butt. Yes, we do. Black men are industrious. We do go out there and work and pay our dues like anyone else. And we fight hard like anyone else. So I want to leave you with that as well, because you know that that's what I'm about over here on this channel. I'm about what black fathers are about. Black fathers matter. And I'm going to push the envelope. I hope you enjoyed my program tonight. And everybody in the chat room, get some sleep. I've had you all up really late into the morning hours if you're in the East Coast. If you're in the West Coast, it's about 12:10 a.m. And I'll probably stay up for another hour before I go to bed because I'm a night owl anyway. So peace to you, everybody in the chat room, for being here. And to our newcomer to the chat room, give her some love. We got some chick named Star. Everybody in the chat room, give her some love because she's new to my channel. I met her over on George Makem 2's channel, and looks like she's going to be a member of the family as well, because I think and I hope that she likes what we're doing over here, as well as Mr. Lawrence. He's cool. He's a good brother too. Brother Earl Owens, who has been rocking with me consistently throughout the years, Real Aaron Collins, Sonia Seas. I recognize, let me tell you something. One of my biggest financial supporters, and I got to give her credit, is Back to the Basics. She's got my back. She sends me messages. She checks on how I'm doing. She was one of the ones tonight to send a message to me saying, hey, man, your sound's not working. Info, get it together. She super chats me sometimes. She cash asks me even when I'm not even going live. She's been a big supporter of my channel. As many of, and this is not to minimize any of you in the chat room, whether you super chat me or give me money or not does not matter. But what matters is that I want to just acknowledge her because she definitely goes beyond the call of duty when it comes to supporting my channel. But all of you are giving of your time to sit up here and watch a goofy guy like myself sometimes, okay? So I appreciate that. And I know, and look, I know I'm long-winded. I know I'm long-winded, folks. It's just how I am. But thank you for being patient with me. Have a good night. We're going to get on out of here and make it do what we make it do. So peace to you. Love you all. I'll be back with more content, and peace.
Such a pretty girl, left town, got a chance in LA. Now you a city girl, now you wanna party, it's late. You stay over, never over. One more drinking till you're sober. You stay over, never over. One more drinking till you're sober. You said that I was, you had me love struck. That city life will make you go. Yeah, yeah. No place like home. No place like home. No place like home. 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 No place like home. Had a lover boy, now you're on the other side of the tracks with another boy, chasing that greener grass. You stay over, never over. One more drinking until you're sober. You stay over, never over. One more drinking until you're sober. You said that I was, you had me love struck. That city life will make you go. Yeah, yeah. No place like home. No place like home. No place like home. No place like make the night go slower. It's lonely in October. Closer, closer, closer. Lightning in a bottle. Lightning in a bottle, baby. Shatter up the table. Shatter on the table. We can kill the labels. Hold me, need me, la la la.
losing sleep while driving in the backseat. What's left of me? Drowning in what feels just like an ocean. Negativity is getting closer. Hard to keep the heat when it gets colder. You know, sometimes everything just gets hard. Sometimes everything just gets harder. Feeling like I'm missing some parts. Days just keep on getting much darker. Even when I'm down in the low, I remember what you were saying. Sometimes all you need is a spark. Maybe just a better kind of bitter. Lose gravity, I'm swimming in the quicksand. Up to my knees. Keep losing sleep, I'm manic dream at midnight. So hard to please. Drowning in what feels just like an ocean. Negativity is getting closer. Hard to keep the heat when it gets colder. You know, sometimes everything just gets hard. Sometimes everything just gets harder. Feeling like I'm missing some parts. Days just keep on getting much darker. Even when I'm down in the low, I remember what you were saying. Sometimes all you need is a spark. And maybe just a better kind of bitter.
Brother Guidance, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that, brother. I've been going live for a minute now. You came in a little bit late, but I appreciate that. So what I'm going to do, because you super chatted, and I appreciate that, I acknowledge people who give of their time and their money, because you don't have to do that, brother. Let's go ahead and get the super chat music going one more time before I end. Let's do it. I'm a night owl anywhere, so let's go ahead and do it.
Tell them run it on. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turned to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ and Tom Brady. I wake up, flex, thumb down that check, no drip, this.
Once again, brother, thank you for the super chat. If you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. And also scroll down my page. You'll see my second channel, The Information Man Speaks Podcast. Go ahead and subscribe to that too if you are new to my channel. Appreciate the super chat. I always give respect to people because you didn't have to do that. Even though I'm getting ready to end the program, I just had to do that out of respect, brother. Thank you very much. I'm a very humble brother. And for now, here is the last tune of the night.
Take me in your arms, do just what you want. You're the one I trust. I belong to you, and I'll always be around when I need some loving, baby. And I'll never let you down, let you down, let you down. I'm your song, and you're playing all my melodies. There's no one else, 'cause baby, we got chemistry. You give me feelings that I never knew. This heart of mine will always and forever belong to you. You and me were meant to be as one. The universe has known it all along. Maybe this is where our story starts. Maybe it was written in the stars, written in the stars. You, me, forever, yeah. Information is power. Written in the stars. You, me, forever, yeah. You, me. Take me to your heart. Take me to your soul, never drawn apart, 'cause I belong to you. Be my guiding star, 'cause I need your loving, baby. And never let me down, let me down, let me down. I'm your song, and you're playing all my melodies. There's no one else, 'cause baby, we got chemistry. You gave me feelings that I never knew. This heart of mine will always and forever belong to you. You and me were meant to be as one. The universe has known it all along. Maybe this is where our story starts. Maybe it was written in the stars. Written in the stars. You, me, forever, yeah. You, me, written in the stars. You, me, forever, yeah. You, me, written in the stars. You, me, forever, yeah. You,
Information is power. Information is power.